Do you want to be a part of the CoCo community? Sure, we all do. So join this free weekly live talk show to find out how easy it is to watch at home and learn about your color computer. At the CoCoNation, more than 9 million men and women have participated in the community without setting foot outside their homes. And now at home in your spare time, you can see what's happening, or even join the discussion. Choose from any one of these segments: panel intros, project updates, acquisitions, CoCo thoughts, featured interviews and events, the Game On Challenge, news, Ron's Garage, CoCo commercials, show coverage, panel goodbyes, or you can join one of our extra shows. You can choose from the Game On Challenge Live or CoCo Tech. Join the CoCoNation right now.
Click the link for the free information TJB Chris spoke about. Then decide if you want to watch the CoCoNation Live Show, the world's leading live weekly talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer, its siblings, cousins, and redheaded stepchildren. Visit thecoconation.com. There is no obligation and no salesman will visit you. Visit thecoconation.com.
The CoCoNation show is an unscripted, live, and interactive broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own, and not necessarily those of the CoCoNation show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds are encouraged, and a sense of humor is recommended. Thank you for being a part of the CoCoNation.
Radio Shack? Okay.
What?
The 80s called.
Welcome to the CoCoNation, the world's first live and interactive talk show featuring the Tandy color computer and its hardware cousins.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the CoCoNation Show, episode 450.
Wow. That many.
Oh, let's see. I guess we'll get in the swing of things. On the panel today, we start off with Marco.
I'm at the top. Hey,
You're at the top.
glad to be here today. I logged in early. Yeah, that's how it works.
And next over, we got Ron Deluxe.
Hello. It's 70 degrees. I'm tolerating it.
I don't have anything to say.
He's bragging.
Meanwhile, 1,500 miles to the east.
Let's see. We have Ken Waters.
Woohoo! Top row. And if I poured my coffee right now, I'd hit Rick and Curtis.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
And Henry Strickland makes up the top row.
Hello, we've got big fluffy snow in Augusta, Georgia, and I have no idea what to do about it.
Well, your name fits then.
Snow Angels.
Your land is struck.
We've got an oscilloscope, I've got a soldering iron, but I can't really fix it.
Well, we still got the
tools for
snow
the
on the
job.
ground from last weekend. And that's unusual.
Hmm.
All right, next row. Yours truly. Then we got Bob Emery. Maybe. There he is.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Then we got Rick Euland.
And I have snow on the ground melting, which is also unusual.
And Nick Barentes.
Hello, everyone. I'm actually not on the bottom of the list today. I'm actually moving up in the world.
That's what happens when you get up early.
And show up on time.
All right, in the last row, we got Kevin Holloway.
Hello, everybody. Almost last.
Yep.
This is a dig at Curtis.
L. Curtis Boyle.
Hi, just made it in time. I'm fiercely loading tabs as we speak.
Inside joke, when you and Kevin were logging in at the same time, I couldn't tell if it was Kevin with Curtis's face on him or Curtis as they were flipping back and forth. It was really interesting.
All right, in the chat, we got Michael Zwiffle, Ron Delvo, Brian Blake, Marco, Canadian Retro Things, J.E. Jones, Kevin Holloway, Julian Brown, Sixy, and the new person, Gore 71. All right, heard about us from VCF Montreal. Are we gonna have anybody on to give us a highlight recap of the show?
I was hoping we would. I was hoping Frederick would be on.
Okay, then we got Jim Rye, Tom Eric Gunderson, Tim Franklin, Brian Blake, and Daddy Burrito. Scroll. Joe Lavacoco, Bill in an HSV. I think that's
Bill
right.
Assing. Yeah, Bill Assing.
Anything?
Yep.
Okay. Well, in the case of Wayne Campbell, he's actually using his picture when I can see the little icon. So I was like, oh yeah, I know who that is. All right.
And Burrito's thanking everybody for taking the snow so we didn't have to keep it. And I'm sure that Ken and myself were also on that same thing.
We're at above zero temperatures today too, so we're melting our snow.
Right, melting here. It's really unusual.
Yeah, it's melting, but it's still here.
Still there.
Melting slowly.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be happy with down to mid calf. If it melts that far, I'll be happy. We've been piling it up in places for a while now.
All right. Project updates. I have a title for that. There we go. Hey, you were supposed to turn off. All right. Let's see. Let's start off with Rick.
Okay, let me pretend like I'm prepared.
Okay. If not, we can go to Henry.
No, I'm good.
Hey,
I just have to start this over
Curtis.
here. And
Don't forget to post the news notes.
yeah, people like to know.
What news notes?
So we'll all know what he's talking about later. Okay, so
And
anyway.
your mic's dead, Curtis.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I haven't posted yet because I'm actually just loading all the links here, and I discovered a few that because I was in such a hurry that I actually duplicated the same link for 2 different stories. I'd go find the original one back again. So once I'm finished that, I'll post them.
Excellent. Just wanted to remind you.
We're good.
No, that's good. Otherwise, the show would have been a 5-hour show.
Yeah.
Repeating the news.
Right now, it might be a 5-hour show watching me load tabs.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, Rick, take it away.
Okay. First, I was digging through boxes of stuff, and guess what I found?
What?
My KBCom book. So I have a full manual for KBCom.
The commercial version or the shareware version?
Yeah. And we even have endorsements from Rick Adams and Zach Sessions. So
what does it do?
This is the
terminal program.
A VT100 terminal, and he called it Kuhn's Bearcom because all it did was a VT100 terminal. It didn't download it. But
I think the later version did add that. The best thing about it is it actually would use the graphic screen. If you actually enabled it, you could actually get the full ANSI character set or the ISO, whatever the heck the other character sets
it was
are.
most of a VT100 terminal. Yeah, it was really a really good thing, and it gets all into how it all works. But I've had the program for years, forgot how it worked, and then I found this in a completely not related to CoCo at all box of stuff. So that was pretty cool.
And now can you even try it?
Oh, I know. I still have it, and I use it for some things, but I didn't know. I mean, this thing has macros and all kinds of. I mean, we've got a whole manual full of stuff that you can do with
it uses
this
a triple
program.
buffering techniques that'll handle 9600 baud even on a graphic screen.
And I didn't know how to do any of that anymore. So this is a good find.
Does it X modem?
I don't think it does much of anything. It's a VT100 terminal. There you go.
Yeah, it does have the ability to launch Z modem in the background, though. I remember using it that way.
Oh,
it
right.
depends what
Because
version you have too.
Because it's OS 9. So yeah, you can call OS 9 Z modem and just say do this.
Yeah, but you could call it right from the terminal program itself. It would just fork it as a.
So that's what I mean. Yeah,
process.
But
yeah, Supercom did the same thing for Z modem.
And then I completed my mystery or solved my mystery. Let's see, Beamon. Yeah, that's the one. So remember we had a string. Substring was looking at a string that had a P in it and wasn't finding the P. Well, when is a P not a P? Apparently when it's ASCII 144, which is 32 numbers higher than a lowercase p. But apparently the way the fonts roll around, it still displays as a P. So let's go figure that out, boys and girls. I thought there was a problem with substring, but no, it was just my ASCII codes. I was up here as a umlauty thing, thinking it was a P, and it was displayed on the screen as a P. So anyway, that solves that mystery. We found it when I actually looked at the save file and noticed that dot layer 1, and that's a 90, and that's not a valid printable ASCII character. So anyway, that was my success of the week. And I found out what caused it was reusing code. I took there's a place where I'm taking in names and checking if they're uppercase or lowercase and folding the case. And in this case, I had copied the code and didn't change the name from player name to tribe name. And so I ended up folding the case on the wrong variable and making my P a not P by adding 32 instead of subtracting. Anyway, I managed to really break it nicely.
and in a way that took several hours to find. So very pleased with myself on that one. Let's see. Next thing that I did, I wanted to do was just kind of run through my Delmar thing maybe a minute, because what the heck, I made this nice big presentation. So let's just go through the highlights of the first 5 minutes of it.
Joe apologized for yakking too long.
Oh, well, in any case, this is it. This is it as you might see it in real life.
It's a nice case.
I should put my notes up. Well, it looks nice from the outside. Let's see. I'm still waiting on this adapter, so that's why I don't have a full presentation yet. But here it is thrown on the side of the desk there, kind of for scale. You can notice it towers over and above and around everything.
I don't see a banana.
So the CoCo fits it. Well, how about a oscilloscope or a CoCo for scale?
Okay. Yeah.
And so the actual guts of the thing itself, as you can tell, cabling standards have changed somewhat over the years.
It's just a AT mid-size case, right? AT PC.
Well, it's a big tower. This is
it's a big tower. Okay.
This is a full motherboard here, and you'll notice you could stick more on the top, more. But I would like to say, don't ever let Steve Burke see this case, the Gamers Nexus guy, because he may explode. You know, the veins in his temple may just pop. It's got the cutting edges and everything. In fact, this is a factory defect here. The CPU tray was never pop riveted to the case. So it was more the motherboard was holding the case together and not the other way around.
Ooh,
and it's been that way. It's been that way since it was built. So whoever, you know, these universal cases that everyone used, not the best. In any case, here is the motherboard. Now, this is about as universal motherboard as you can imagine from what is it, Computer Design Services here. You'll notice it's got a built-in SCSI interface. It's got a built-in ID interface. It's got a built-in floppy interface. It's got a fancy printer with the dual printer timer fancy port thing. It's got every clock you can imagine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see.
It has no CPU. It's got 2 8-bit slots and 2 6 and a bunch of 16-bit slots. Am I seeing that?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. An 8-bit and a bunch of 16s and what he said. And then here's the CPU slot, which leads us right to the money shot here, which is and it's also got some credentials as a CoCo 4 bodge wires.
Bodge wires.
So we know it's in the CoCo 4 lineage here.
And a resistor.
And here's the money shot. We have in fact a 68020 CPU and the improved floating point chip, the 68882.
And so 20 megahertz looks like in your case?
25.
25. Yeah, 25 either.
Yeah, 25, and of course another clock. 50 megahertz
because
clock
why not?
Chip. So our 6th clock chip to get that all going.
Because you can never have accurate enough time.
Right, you can never have enough. Well, the thing is, what a lot of designs would do is, if you had something that could run up to 33, but you already have a clock at 24, you would just run that thing at 24. And it was a little bit slower, but you saved a clock chip and all the. Well, these guys just said, okay, everything gets whatever clock speed it wants. If it takes 27 clocks, that's what we're putting in it. So I like those guys. Here's the graphics. This is the best graphics card available for OSK. It's also the worst graphics card because, as far as I know, this Tseng Lab chip is what you had to have. It seemed to be the only thing that was there. Everyone used it.
Yeah, the only one I could think of that might have been ahead of this. The only one I could think of that would have been ahead of this might have been the Kix 30 chip, because I know its graphics chip ran at the full 33 megahertz on the board.
Okay, that would be nice. Yeah, it'd be really nice. And so that brings us to the OS9, which I just noticed a couple of interesting things. So Here's the one for the peripheral technology, computer design services, Delmar lineage. Notice the second disk is high density. So it only takes 2. But now OS9 for the Hazelwood, they're all double density, and we need 3 disks.
3.
And what was the Hazelwood series?
Well, that was the ones that Frank Hogg used for manufacturing. So probably the TC70 and maybe even the KIX 2030.
Okay. So I ended up with 2 kinds of OS9 in my pile, and I don't have a machine for this one. So that would make sense.
But Hazelwood was the manufacturer, did the TC9, the TC70, the K-Bus, the KIX 20 and 30, I think even. The QT20 series and some of the other ones Frank sold.
Okay, so we have that group, and then we have the peripheral technologies and Delmar, which both use the computer design systems thing that we saw earlier. That sort of makes sense. And then, of course, the drivers for that fancy board and G-Windows and
GView.
Which is right, the file manager, right? For G-Windows?
Yeah, GView, I think, is also the package that lets you like directly hook up to hardware, and you just like literally drag something over from the driver onto your program, and it would instantly create an instrument or a graphic thing like a dial or a waveform thing or something like that. And it actually would just start the program would handle itself. It would just say, "Oh, okay, I get inputs from here. Here's your display, showing that live." You didn't have to actually program it. It was actually pretty cool for industrial systems.
I want to play with that. Of course, I've only got the demo version, I guess, but I still want to play with that. See, serial number demo. I had a lot of those in my life.
I'm trying to remember the demo version. I think it would run for an hour and then you had to reboot or something like that. But it actually gave you full access, if I remember.
Okay, I wonder if you can keep bumping the clock back every 59 minutes.
Well, nowadays we can just disassemble or you run it in an emulator or something and figure out where it's doing that. Just take that out. Because I don't think Steve Adams is concerned with selling G-Windows anymore.
Yeah, probably not. Let's see. One other thing, I was looking through the OSK manual. We want to take a minute with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so it came in a nice book. I mean, eat your heart out, Tandy. The whole book fits in the binder, and you don't need another binder to hold out of it.
The excess pages.
Right.
Yeah, the Tandy one's a bit thick.
Yeah. Well, if you had a spare multi-view manual, you could put the Basic 09 part in that, and everything worked out great. But anyway, one thing OSK I was disappointed to find out is dsave is still the recommended way to save multiple files.
It's nice if you want to do scripted stuff, but it's slow. I'd much rather use like MS Copy or something.
It's scripted, yeah, and I just going to OSK and thinking, okay, everything's going to be better, and here's dsave. So that was kind of a letdown right away. But then life got better. Let's see. First, we have a lot more devices, so we have network drives and hard disk drives and things like that baby OS 9 never saw.
Tape drives, like for mass tape dat stuff.
Tape drives, indeed. And this is what came with you. It wasn't something esoteric cobbled on there. And then we have Make. I mean, OS 9 thought they were doing good to give you build, a way to type in a text file. No, give me Make. Type in a Make file.
Now, is that the Make from the developer's kit type thing for like doing C compiles and stuff?
It does, yeah, dependencies and things. It's a real
the 11.2 developers kit had one of those, but it was a vastly improved one by, I'm trying to remember who was it, Tim Kiensel did a third-party one, like an upgrade to it, a massive upgrade to it, and I think even Deke has been expanding on that. So
okay, cool. I
don't think we're too far behind.
I was happy to see this. I've never really got to play with OSK, and I hope I can get the stupid machine going, because it's something I would really like to deal with now. UMAX. We're actually micro
officially,
Emacs.
Yeah, we just had a little third-party one on the CoCos, and it was a mini micro Emacs or whatever it's called.
As micro Emacs, everyone called it UMAX. As MicroWare says, it's Emacs without the Lisp, so it's not extensible. You can't write Lisp scripts for it, but other than that, it's Emacs. So that was really a nice find, and they go into it in some, and then term cap for everybody, which, I love term cap. let's see, utilities, all of these are familiar, but then when you go to the extended utilities, we've got cool things like grep. That's something I would have really liked to see come to the CoCo, but I understand you need a little bit of CPU for grep. So,
well, we do have grep on the CoCo. There's multiple versions of it, but it's all third-party stuff. Like Microware didn't.
Right, it's all and this would be like the official version, so you know exactly what bugs it has and what. Yeah. Anyway, this is something I really would have been excited to have at the time. ROM debugger, but and then here's something that I always liked about Microware versus a lot of other people. Their example code is actual code. So what happens is most places, the example code illustrates their one key topic, and then that's the end of it. By using, a whole driver, the whole program as their example code, any little esoteric edge case that you can think of might be in here, and often they are. So it becomes a much more effective example than just, in the Tandy OS 9 manual, it shows you how to open a file and write this thing, but it doesn't answer any other questions about that at all that you might have. The example code only shows you the very basic minimum thing you could do. Whereas this example wanders into a lot more of what you need to know to actually use the code. Anyway, that was...
Yeah, it's something Wayne Campbell and I are trying to do on the updated OS 9, Basic 9 manuals. We're changing some of the programs from those little limited ones that show you, like you said, the basic functionality of whatever command you're trying to figure out, but making a complete program that about 10 different things will all reference, 10 different commands, and you get to see how all of them work together.
Beauty. And then, as always, close out with every system call in the world, because we're supposed to be technical to start with. You don't need a separate technical manual. This is just part of the manual. Right in there with copy and, shut down. Anyway, that's about as far as I got on my Delmar. I'm waiting on the power supply to come in, but I kind of wanted to ditch, especially when we're talking about the who has the nicest OSK. I don't know that there was any 68040s. If not,
I don't think Delmar did. I think they only went to the 20. The kicks only went to the 30 as well, as far as I know.
I'm going to bet this one with the latest model math coprocessor is probably the, except for graphics, which it used a 16-bit graphics card. But other than that, I bet this is the top of the tree as far as CoCo 4 CPU only would go.
Yeah, because I don't think the Kicks 20 and 30 was really considered a CoCo 4. I think that was just an OSK machine as far as FHL was concerned. So,
well, and this is the CoCo spirit. We put everything into the CPU and nothing into the graphics or the sound. Or
yeah.
As you'll notice, there is no sound card in here.
I do remember Delmar was demonstrating the System 4 and the System 5 at one of the CoCo Fest, and they actually had the 6809 emulator, so you could run some of the old CoCo stuff, level 2, and it was dog slow on the 68000, but the 68020 wasn't too bad. It was like running at half speed or like 1 megahertz, basically.
I think didn't they have a decb for the 6820 as well? Like a decb emulator that ran on it?
I can't remember. I know Chris Burke did the decb for the TC9, which is basically just patching the crap out of the ROMs, but
right, it worked a lot better on the
yeah thing. Well, my TC9's flaky. Like I actually had it running the day before we did the show last week, and I couldn't get it to even boot the damn thing this time. It's right. It's a bit finicky, this thing.
Hopefully my my new power supply will fix mine, because I have verified it needs a power supply. Hopefully that's the only thing it needs.
Yeah, I definitely need to get some more floppy drives, because even my CoCo 3 floppy drive is a little bit wonky at the moment. The real physical one, like the SDCs work fine, but not like that. I pulled almost everything off my floppies, but it'd be nice to have so I could format one properly.
Oh yeah. I guess that implies that my Delmar has a high density floppy in the 3.5, since its load disks included a high density floppy. Cool.
Well, once you get it up and running, we should have you do a special segment on the show, or a CoCoTech episode if you want a really long time to go through it. But to show off G windows and stuff, if you can get it running, that'd be cool.
Yeah, really looking forward to doing that, and hopefully we will. I originally thought this was all fake because it's got a SCSI CD, a SCSI optical drive and an IDE hard drive and high density floppy drive and a regular density floppy drive. And it's like, I figured it was just a whole bunch of parts. No, the motherboard has all those ports built into it. It has a SCSI port. It has an IDE port. It has a high density floppy port, just kind of part of the motherboard, just hanging there in case you might want it. And 4 serial ports, because of course, why wouldn't you have 4 COM ports on a bare motherboard? It doesn't even have a CPU.
Well, since they're targeting OS 9, it makes total sense. I mean, a terminal system. I mean, like, look at what Curtis was doing at Mercury Printing.
Yeah, or Spectral Associates. All their development was done on 80 column terminals.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Even their CoCo 1 and 2.
Yeah, I was just expecting to find some kind of, like 4-port serial card in it or something. Nope. It's just built in. CDS 68K was built to do anything you might possibly do with a Motorola 68K, I guess. Anyway, that's the dead hardware exhibit.
All right. Next up, we got Henry.
Okay. So I'm going to do a demo today on new stuff that I've done on the TFR 905H single board computer. And just to remind anyone who's behind, the green card is the single board computer. It's got a Hitachi 6309, and it's got a Raspberry Pi Pico 2 to do all the controls and all the peripherals for it. And up until a week ago, anytime I was demoing this, the Pi Pico has a USB port that plugs into your PC, which could be a Mac or a Windows or a Linux or a Raspberry Pi. And all the input and output had to be on the console there because I didn't have any other devices on this. And so there would be a shell window with a command called tconsole, which is the console that talks to this part of the computer. And that would be the terminal input and terminal output. Now, a week ago on the Retro Show, which those, I guess they're online by now, Mark. I should go look and see.
They were up.
Yeah,
when
all
we streamed
of them
it.
are up. I actually watched them all, so I can verify.
Okay, good. I need to go watch them all today.
Yeah. When they're streamed, they're available. So
on there, I showed this keyboard, which is under $10, and this little display, which is about $3, being the input and the output. But now I'm going to go back to using the PC that's tethered to it, but instead of just a text screen, I've got a web browser window that's talking to it. And instead of running OS 9, now I'm emulating a CoCo 2's kind of peripherals and hardware and running Extended Color Basic. So I'm going to share that window now for you. Share the console here. Okay, is that showing up correctly?
Yeah, you're in a 40 column mode. It looks like a VGA or something.
Yeah, I'm in a 32 column mode.
Oh, 32. Okay.
Yeah, because this is like a CoCo 2. So the Raspberry Pi Pico 2, the Pico has an array which is the RAM for the 6309. And whenever the 6309 reads instructions, writes data, writes stack, all that stuff, it's going into the 6309. It's going into the Pi Pico because that's where the the actual RAM is backed for this system. But the PiPico is also now telling my PC what is in RAM. And so my PC has the T console program running on the PC now has a little embedded server, which I'm connected to. You see, this is on localhost :8080. So my web browser is connecting to that console program, which is using WebSockets as the underlying connection for displaying what should be on the screen and taking keyboard events, and eventually mouse events will be part of this as well. So let's get a clean list. Oh, I've screwed it up now. No, here it comes. P mode 1,1. I think P mode 1 means that it's 128 by 96, and then the (1) is the color set it's using. Is that correct?
No, the second one is which page number you're starting on.
Which page number?
Which 1.5K chunk, because you have all of RAM for where you want to put your graphics type thing. So those are 1.5K chunks that you can set for where the display starts.
I had Google's AI kind of get me started on this, like get me into the mode where it could actually do something. Clearing the screen. And screen 1,1 does what, Curtis?
The first digit is 0 if you want the hardware text screen. 1 is a graphics screen. And then the 0, 1 after that, the second parameter is the color set.
That's
the green
where the
or the
color
white-based
set
one.
is. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so I do some setups and I get myself into graphics mode. Then for k equals 0 to 99, we set the color to be k modulo 4. And comma 0s for the background color, which I'm not going to be using. And then I draw a line from the top left corner, 0, 0, to some random place on the screen. And that's done in the color that was chosen on the previous line. And we loop that. So we do that for 100 lines. And then we're going to pause for a little bit at the end. Now, if you're familiar with CoCo 1 or CoCo 2, you'll say, hey, mine runs faster than this, and it does. I'm running a little slower for a couple of reasons. One, I'm not overclocking the Pico right now just to be conservative. And second, getting a copy of all the pokes, all the writes that are done in the Pico, getting that into the PC over the USB is a little bit slow. And I want to put that on the second CPU core in the Pico, and that might speed things up. But let's go ahead and run. So there's going to be 100 lines running from the northwest corner down to some point, and then it'll stop and delay for a bit. But this is nice to see.
Are you basing this on the Microsoft Color Basic ROMs?
Yes.
Okay, so that explains like it's only doing the left half of the screen because Extended Basic scales to 256 for all modes, no matter what the real resolution is.
Yeah, I've got to work on the scaling.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want the scaling, just do up to 256, and it'll scale it to the 128. That's really on the mode. That's what Color or Extended Basic does as well.
Yeah, but
yeah,
you know,
you're basically
I'm
using
looking...
the highest mode that the MC10 natively supports.
So I'm tracking writes to the SAM register so that I know what mode we're in and where the screen is located in RAM. Tracking writes to PIA1 so that I know those mode bits. And then I'm looking in RAM and generating raster data for a red, blue, green 24-bit screen and sending that up through the WebSocket to this web browser that can then just display it and take keyboard events. So that's what I've got to show. And this is something that I had meant to do like long ago, but it feels good that finally I'm starting to get some of the graphics modes and making the Color Basic ROMs and things work. And maybe this will be functional for gaming eventually too. Any questions on that?
Yeah, no, it looks good. You definitely could do some decent games there. Like a lot of the games for the MC10 that are using the 20K or the 32K expansion stuff use these types of modes, especially if you've got the MCX 120 or the MCX 32 SD, because they have extended basic with the same mode in it too. So some of the stuff Jim Gary's been doing, you could probably just literally just port over here.
And then when I'm doing the CoCo 3 and all of its modes, it's a lot more complicated, which is why I'm trying to do the CoCo 2.
You have MMU banks to worry about and all kinds of stuff.
Yes, exactly. but you know, I am running OS 9 level 2 on this machine, and I'm emulating the MMU banks and stuff for that. So I can do it. All right, that's
now, is this running natively at 3 megahertz right now with the weight states and stuff that you got in, or is it you running it a bit lower than that?
This is like a little bit slower than a real CoCo 2, so a little bit slower than the 0.9 megahertz.
Okay, and the 609, what speed are you actually running it at now? I've obviously got some weights for the screen drawing and stuff.
It's weird. The 6309 does not have a constant clock going to it. If the Pi Pico stops to do something like write on the USB, it like pauses it for a bit until it can go again. And so what I have to do is I have to write a loop like counting to 1,000 and time it on a real CoCo and do it on here and kind of figure out what the ratio is.
So that's why you always rate your stuff in overclocking the Pico rather than what the 6809 speed is.
Yes, I want to overclock the Pico just so that it's not holding me back. If I'm not copying, okay, if when I overclock the Pico and when I am not keeping an image of memory writes on the PC that has to go over the USB, that's when I'm effectively about 2.5 megahertz effective rate. Yeah, so at that point, I'm going more than twice as fast than your CoCo 2. But when I slowed it down by keeping a memory image that goes over the USB cable to the PC so that I can display the memory like this, that's when it slowed down. Also, this character generator is probably wrong. I need to find the correct character generator image for a CoCo 2. But this is an 8x8 font I found somewhere and just stuck it in.
Works. Yeah. Made yourself a SingLab video card. What you need there.
You know, while I'm here, I can also do. How do you clear the program?
New.
Let's do this one too. 10 for I equals 128 to 255. Guess what I'm going to do?
Like semi-graphics?
All the funky characters that look like a P sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I made the semi-graphics work before I made P-Mode 1 work.
I can tell you, I remember they tested this on a CoCo 1.2 back in the day, but if you're running at 0.895 megahertz, the standard non-speed up poke stuff, a 4 next loop from 1 to 460 is approximately 1 second.
From 1 to 460?
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, Henry, there's the timer command counts in 60ths of a second.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that was about 1.5
that too,
seconds.
Yeah. So you can probably use that for some of your calibration.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the timer's based
say
on
that
the
again.
VSync.
I talked over you.
The timer just counts in 60ths of a second. So if you set the timer to 0 and then do a loop and then read the timer and divide by 60, that will give you the number of seconds it took.
This is in extended color basic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you hit your
It's
speed,
like print
that's-
timer. Okay. And I believe that my 60 hertz interrupts in my current mode are genuine 60 hertz interrupts. So that's a good point. That would work here. That's the PIA.
And,
I'm sorry, that's the Pico generating 60 hertz interrupts for the CPU.
And just a quick little time saver here. You can use a question mark instead of the word print.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
We like
shortcut.
question mark. Timber isn't going to work though.
Well, wait, it would be a variable called TI.
Yeah.
Oh, why is my timer
get
always
zero.
0?
And also, if you're putting remarks in your program, you can use a single apostrophe for instead of rem. That's the other shortcut they have.
Oh,
Yeah. And you can set the timer to a value like timer equals 0. And then a common way to reseed the random number generator is to do timer equals or random minus timer.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
Yeah, the negative timer to reseed.
So there were 144 instead of just 60 interrupts during that count to 460 list. So yeah, I'm definitely going slow.
I should mention here too, 6C's mentioned there are a few pings in the XOR source tree for fonts because he's got the fonts for XOR.
Okay.
If you want to get the actual ones.
Yes, I do. All right, great. The XOR source tree. Okay,
So if you
good.
just-
Yeah, I was kind of like grepping all my files for files that contained both CoCo and how was that? And 8x8 or something like that. Anyway, yeah, I just used what I found because I wanted to get this running for today.
So change line 5 to timer equals 0, and then you don't have to do any math.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Okay. And I'll have to check and see if
Yeah,
what I said
yeah.
is true, that my 60 hertz is really our 60 hertzes.
You have some variance going on there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of variance. It's because this Pico is in
That's
there.
what it needs.
The things that are done in the programmable I/O, which is the special feature of the Pico, which is what makes me choose it to do this job. And it's also what the Fujinet people have chosen to talk to the CoCo bus. Everything there is very precise timing, but when it goes back to the ARM core, then there can be variations, and especially when it's doing I/O over the USB to the tethered PC. All right. Okay, maybe now I'm done.
Nice.
Yeah, 6C has another update for you, Henry. He says he's reasonably confident on those font pings. They're verified against Tim Lindner's digital captures. Current MAME will also have just as good of data, but it will probably be a C data, not as an image file. So if that's preferable for you, you might want to pull it from the MAME source.
Okay. Yeah, I can write tiny scripts to convert things, so whatever. All right, thanks a lot. Thank you, 6C.
Thank you.
That looks cool.
And you can still get these things cheap from Connect.
Yes, they are available from Patrick Euland. His a company called Computer Connect, CONECT, and they're available, I believe, for $30.
Something like that. Yeah, pretty much cost.
Are you selling that little keyboard and stuff there too on Rick's site? Or
No.
No, I gotta get those though. That would be cool.
But
We'd
those
put it in
are
a little
neat. This
box
was-
with the baby
Yeah.
keyboard and the little display in the same box, and you plug it in the CoCo. And,
Yeah.
yeah. It'd be
Search
cool.
for card KB 1.1. CARDKB 1.1, and you'll find those.
That thing, it would be neat to have some kind of little minimal console built into the box, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, these are painful, but yeah, having a little screen and a little keyboard just to show
built
you
into the box, so you can start
show
it
you
up
that something
and
is happening is kind of
But
neat.
you know, we gotta cram battery in there, feature creep this thing up so you can unplug it from your PC and carry it around, and it's still running programs, and you got your little minimal keyboard there. Yeah.
Yeah,
creep.
and you know, one of my goals is to have a cyber deck that you can go into Starbucks and pop your email. Running OS 9 or Color Basic or Fusix or Forth.
Yep.
And someday I want to write a small talk for it.
Who said that? George Carlin. We're all going to die with a to-do list.
Cool. Any other project and updates there, Mark?
Oh, I got to push that button too.
Ta-da! Hey, so guess what?
Ron has something for us.
Yeah. Look at. Guess what? Fujinet has
Weather station.
a weather app. Really cool.
That's the CoCo 1 and 2 mode version of it too, right?
Yes.
I presume.
72 degrees. 66.8. It feels like. Bull. It feels warm. Okay, so this is pressure, evidently. Do you know what this stands for?
Something Pascals, isn't it?
Yeah. Peck. I don't know what.
Kilopascals.
Yeah, that's it.
What's the does it retrieve the time and date?
The time and date's at the top, but you can't see it very well on this particular image.
So you basically have
Can
a
you
real
see it
time
there at
clock
all?
now.
Yeah, it's a real time clock
Barely.
right there. Yeah. And then it does next day or two.
Nice.
See, February 1st, February 2nd. Look at. But now this has already gone up. It's going to be 80. And then
Quit hogging it all.
yeah, the other thing. Yeah. Yeah, and then it shows
Stingy
if it's
Ron.
runny or not. Yeah.
Not sharing.
Yep, and there's proof that it was running off my this is a T1 CoCo 2. And then earlier I did this, which is new. This is Wikipedia. Yeah. And I looked up the Dragon, and it came up, and it's upper and lower case. Pretty nice.
Yeah, it's using that 42 by 24 upper lowercase font that Rich Stevens has got on quite a few of the Fujinet apps for the CoCo now.
Mm-hmm.
So that you get that higher text and lowercase on a CoCo 1, 2, or 3.
Yep, it's the truth. And I did a little video just to make it show the text better, because when you take a picture, you get the Moir stuff going on.
Yeah, patterns and stuff.
Yeah, but it actually looks pretty good on this monitor, just with RF channel 4. That's it, guys. Just thought I'd catch you up with what's shaking. All right.
Yeah, I'll be covering a little bit of that actually in the news too. Rich
Oh,
himself
good.
put up a video that shows the CoCo 1, 2, and the 3 modes for the, I think the Wikipedia part.
Nice. I was just going to go on Wiki, and I looked at the list of, apps that you can run, ISS, and
Weather.
this one showed up. Yeah. And let me try it, and then that came up and I was so excited. So I just took screen caps and, pictures and posted it there. Next time, if I show it again, maybe I'll use the RF out or composite out. Because, we have that on the T1 CoCo. And then, probably could do CoCo 3. Thanks. Take it over.
Okay. All right. I have nothing else. Why don't we take our first commercial break and game on?
Sounds good.
Hello everyone, it's your good buddy, your good pal Amigo, and joined by that dastardly The Brent from ARG Presents.
You're watching CoCoNation.
I feel like that should have been longer.
The CoCoNation show would like to thank the following patrons. AC's 8-Bit Zone, Alex Gare, Alan Huffman, Barry Tompkinson, Boysen Tech, Brendan Donnie, Brian Walsh, Brian Weasler, Karen Askham, Coconut Bob, Daddy Burrito, David Ladd, Derek Smithson, Diego BF109, Don Barber, Eric Canales, Frederick Segard, Glenn Hewlett, Graham Wabke, Grant Leedy, Henry Gernhardt, Henry Strickland, Jason Warrens, Jeffrey Drywater, Jim Mullis, Justin Larson, Ken Reichard, Kevin Holloway, Mark Castellan, Michael Hill, Patrick Euland, Paul Fiscarelli, Paul Shoemaker, R. Allen Murphy, Richard Harding, Rob Inman, Rocky Hill, Steve Batson, Terry Trapp, TJB Chris, Tom C., Tom Gunderson, Tom S., William Athing. Thank you so much, patrons. If you would like to support the CoCoNation show, sign up at patreon.thecoconation.com.
Hey everyone, I'm TJB Chris, and I'm watching the CoCoNation live show, and so are you. And probably shouldn't be pointing that thing at you. Enjoy!
The CoCoNation would like to thank our Discord boosters, Boysen Tech, Frederick Micro Hobbyist Sigard, Glenside Computer Club, Paul Fiscarelli, Paul Shoemaker, and Wingnut 2626. Please consider joining Discord and visiting the welcome section to see what the community has to offer. Just go to discord.thecoconation.com.
Welcome everybody to the CoCoNation Game On Challenge of the Week results video. This week, we played Warrior King. We had a total of 6 players. We had Coconut Bob with 3450, Jim Rye 4500, 8 Bits in the Basement 5050, Canadian Retro Things 5500, Dr. Ted 16100, and this week's number 1 score belongs to David Kroeker with 20,650. Thanks everybody that played. We'll see you again next week.
And the CoCoNation salutes David Kroeker.
Salute!
Salute!
All right, Warrior King. Actually found a few reviews for this. First thing here we have... see, this is from the Gamers Connection 321, is an ad for the game. So, that. Then in Rainbow, got a review of it here. Basically, the guy just goes through, talks about the graphics are excellent. you get a bonus live every other level, which I never made it off the first level, so I did not know that. And the guy was actually having a lot of trouble with something that I definitely had a lot of trouble with, and that was walking off the edge of cliffs, and when you try to jump forward, you accidentally either walk off into the water or end up just jumping straight up in the air. So he actually called Glenn, and Glenn gave him the advice of swing the sword, and then you don't move, and then you can move the joystick into the right position to jump. And actually David Kroeker also gave that advice in Discord. Other advice that he gave is easing up to the edge by tapping the joystick, which, yeah, sometimes when you tap the joystick, you move a lot further than just a little bit.
Or maybe our hero could learn how to swim.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's because he's wearing, apparently, even though he's just wearing a loincloth, they just say he's wearing heavy armor, so he sinks. I guess it's a really heavy loincloth.
We don't want to go why you need armor there, but okay.
So you can't move forward or backwards when swinging the sword, which is definitely a good thing for, especially swinging behind you when they're coming, when the bad guys are coming up behind you. If you just start holding the fire button down and then push backwards, it's a good way to kill them behind you without walking into their swords. And the instructions are clear, concise, easy to follow, and well made. So this guy definitely liked the game. And let's see. The other one I had is from Gamers Connection 321. And let's see, what do they say about it? They say the arcade game is an unprecedented wonder. Finds the game both challenging and highly enjoyable. Instructions well presented and very informative. So apparently this game had really good instructions with it. Very impressed with the professional quality of the product, and well, his only thing that he complained about here is the joystick movement is kind of touchy, which if you are not using that trick of hold the fire button down, you're going to die a lot walking into the water. And then he also says that at times he hated the game so much that he threw down his joystick and cursed Sundog Systems. Hated it, but still couldn't stop playing it. The game is highly addictive and fun and exciting to play, which I kind of felt the same thing. Definitely a few times I got very sick of dying constantly because I accidentally walked off the edge because I didn't know that trick about holding the fire button yet. And that, to me, was the biggest problem with this game, is that the actual gameplay is not hard. The control of the character is what kills you most of the time. So, yeah. Does anybody else have other things to say about that? I think that kind of covered my actual tips and tricks and basically what I thought of the game.
Yeah, the other tip is you kind of have to memorize where the platforms are when you're changing vertically levels.
Yeah.
Because you can't see what you're going to get into. Now, it never changes, so once you memorize it, you'll kind of know, okay, I got to inch
Which is
forward,
another thing
then
that
jump.
I think they should have done, is that when you crouch down, it should have moved the screen up a little bit so you could actually see if there was water or a platform or what was below you.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, did the original Rastan arcade game let you see below if you're going between levels? I haven't played it in so long, I don't remember.
I haven't played it in a really long time, so I can't remember. But
it has like the bonus weapons and stuff, which is just like the original. So,
and a lot of items that you have no idea what they do unless you read the instructions, like rings and potions and other things.
Yeah, I know there's someone to get your health back, and there's better weapons. I can't remember. Some of the other ones are just bonus shapes for points, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm not sure. The other weapons I think are, there's a mace that gives you a little bit more reach, so you are out of the reach of the bad guys' swords. And then there's an axe that gives you a much more powerful hit. But one of the interesting things is that, because I never got very far in the game, but David Kroeker, when he was playing on the live show, was getting quite far in the game, and he was showing that there's a lot of places where there's bonus points, there's coins that you can get, but if you go after them, there's no way to get out of where you go. You die. So greed is a bad thing in this game. If you get greedy and go after the coins for points, yeah, you're gonna have to kill yourself to get out of the spot. So,
couple comments in the chat. And one of them I specifically want to address in a second here. One from Jim Rice said, "No, the word leaps of faith even in the arcade Rastam." So you had to memorize the maze there too, or not maze, but the train. And then Mark O says, "I couldn't get my CoCo 3 to load the game. Probably too many mods." And I saw a couple people when I went to go watch the stream afterwards that were having trouble trying to get it to load. Did you guys kind of figure out what the common criteria was to get it to work, or?
I have no idea because I never once had a problem getting it to load. So
on the
like I do, you have to
with an SDC. I had to do the run at one.
So you need a stock ROM. Okay, that's one.
Okay. Yep, I didn't do that. So I was running off the STC with 6309 and the Gimme Z. So too many mods. Oh, and two megs. So okay, run at one. Okay. Yep. So standard.
See, yeah, I noticed I'm not like have all these mods like you rich people. I can't afford those.
I did notice there was one of the loaders had a thing for ADOS, and it did something different. So obviously there is something using.
Yeah, he's probably doing direct calls into the disk ROM or something like that, and of course that's all moved in every other version of DOS. So
right.
Yeah, those parts of the ROM no one's supposed to use. Yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to use DiskCon, which is so primitive, it's really not worth reusing.
Useless, yeah.
But yeah, I saw even people with emulators are having trouble trying to get it to run like VCC, but it's a flippy disk, right? Like it doesn't use drive 0, drive 1. You have to flip the disk over.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a pain.
Well, but once you put the graphics disk in, then you don't ever have to change it again. It never goes back to the other disk. So...
Yeah, once you know that you have to reinsert a new disk in virtual or drive 0, an emulator type thing.
Yeah, I never think of games that are looking at specific spots in the ROMs, and so I need to switch back to the regular DOS.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, if you do the directory folder thing, where you mount the folder, not the actual first disk image,
yeah,
you did do that? Okay. Because then you hit the button on the SDC and it should flip to the second drive.
So the disk. Yeah, the thing is it never prompted me to insert the second disk. It always hung on the.
Yeah, so he's probably doing a direct call to the ROM and it's in a different spot with SDC DOS.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't work on Disk Basic 1.0 then either, or unless you put in checks for those two, but ADOS and JDOS and all the rest probably wouldn't work.
Anyways,
I know I quite like the game. I bought it from Glenn in person at the CoCo or Rainbow Fest back in the day.
Looked like a good game.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the first ones that the graphics were really well done. Like it took a lot of time to draw the shapes of the characters and the weapons and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean the train's pretty good, but it's definitely square looking, like they're tiles. Obviously, Kumgai made it look a bit more smooth, like you had more subtleties on the edges of the tiles. But I quite liked it. It was hard. It was not an easy game. Even back in the day when I had reflexes.
And definitely further on in the game, as David Kroeker was showing us, there's a lot more to the game. Like there's fireballs firing at you, and there's disappearing platforms and all kinds of stuff. So
those fireball spitting creatures too, not just the there's a ledge that fires them, but there's also some fire breathing dragon or something that also does it too.
Yeah, like a little dog thing or something. But yeah, we're actually discussing feature creeping ways to improve the game, and one of the disappointing things is that it didn't use a 2-button joystick. It would have been nice.
Well, I remember at that time, so many people were buying CoCo 3s and still had only the CoCo 1 deluxe joysticks, or the Black Beauties and stuff, and they were limiting their own market. You basically forced somebody to have to go buy another joystick just to play your game. And a lot of them tried to avoid that at the beginning, and then later on they kind of said, screw it, 2-button.
You could have had the option in there that asks if you do you have a 2-button joystick, because that's what some of the other games did.
I think that was more of the later ones, though, like 89, 90 ones is when they started really doing that. Even Come Guy,
Well-
which came out a year later, did that.
I'm just thinking, if somebody wants to, fix it and make the fire button the jump button.
Just go back there and patch that puppy.
I still got to fix this in your video game here so you guys can play it on the Game On Challenge yet. I haven't made the new disc image yet.
But yeah, then I think that the game would be a lot better. It'd be way easier to jump forward because, as I said, my biggest problem was I'd ease up to the edge of the platform, and then I'd go to do my diagonal move to jump, but I wouldn't have it quite diagonal enough, and I'd just walk off the edge and fall into the water and slowly sink into my death.
So tweaking the parameters as to where a diagonal jump occurs might actually need some changing too, then to make it a bit more
Or,
fair.
If you just have the joystick moved forward and hit the fire button, then you jump forward. There.
Right.
Or hit the jump button. That would be so much easier.
I was going to ask Nick, because Nick, this is around the same time period when Warrior came out, where you started getting your first CoCo 3 games out yourself. Did you take into consideration about doing one button joystick, since that's what a lot of people had?
No, I always tried to support the one, for that very reason that not everyone had a 2-button joystick. I mean,
Yeah, I think that was very common at the time. I seem to recall Dicom doing that, Sundog doing that, Nick doing that. And it's a bit awkward having to jump to the keyboard, hit spacebar to jump or something. Because a few games tried that, and it was
elbow on the
not
keyboard.
the greatest gameplay in the world. So, I mean, the Amiga had that problem too, because when they introduced 2-button joysticks and stuff, nobody used those for the same reason.
Well, I'm just saying now somebody could patch it, and I think it would be a much better game if somebody...
Yeah, I was hoping Glenn would be able to find some of his source code, because it'd be kind of nice to go through and patch a bunch of his games. I mean, one to for 2-button joystick support for some of the later CoCo 3 stuff, but also, throw us a couple 609 modifications in there. And,
Well, he probably doesn't want to step on your toes for doing the 6309 stuff.
Well, I'm not the only one who's done those. I mean, Sockmaster did some, and
Glenn's not as dumb as he looks. He threw that code away years ago so he could never be tempted back.
But it's a good game. It's got a lot of variety, a lot of different levels. As you mentioned, there's the outdoor scenes, the indoor scenes, and they start adding more and more stuff. So there's more to explore as you further you get. Oh, what's that? Type thing. More and more to memorize where to properly jump, though. That's one problem, because my memory's not long.
And in case anybody is interested, there's a cat fight going on right here.
This is free cats.
Okay, I was wondering if that was mine. I was hearing it.
Nope, that's my cats fighting behind me.
2 black cats in a cat fight. It's perfect.
Yeah.
They obviously can't find my other cat because that's the cat that they usually pick on. If they can't find her, they pick on each other.
Yeah, the other cat is deep cover.
Yeah, not a bad game, a hard game. I would say that.
Definitely a hard
until
game.
you get used to the controls.
But as we saw with David Kroeker, who had this back when he was young, he just flew through all the stuff that was killing everybody else. So.
Yeah. I used to regularly, back in the day, get to the 3rd or 4th level. I didn't get quite as good as David.
But, yeah. Anyways, definitely an impressive game for the time, and something that could be even more impressive if it was had a few tweaks done to it now. Definitely one of the problems
2-button would be
also,
definitely a big one.
when you get further in the game and there's a lot of stuff on the screen, it has massive amounts of slowdown.
609.
Especially when you get the fireballs on the screen.
Yeah. The Contrast has the same problem when you get those big flame things shooting off. Plus the digitized sound effects happening at the same time, it really bogs down. And that's another place the 609 would really help.
Yeah. There you go, Curtis. You got a project.
Someday I'll have time.
I see 2 black cats facing off against each other.
Still, yep. Oh yeah, they're still going at it.
Are they playing Warrior King, are they?
Right?
Yeah, it's a 2 black cat version instead of the 2-button version.
There you go.
They're fighting over who has to stand next to the Commodore 64s.
Oh yeah, they're back there. That's
Yeah,
only
it's
2 of them,
commies. That matches up, yeah. So you put the cats on the Commodores, and yeah.
It's not as bad as
It's
the
a Harry
two
Chapin
20s that
song.
I have sitting right here.
Off camera, of course.
Yeah. I have to say, when I first bought Warrior King, just to get back to the original subject, when I first loaded it, it has that opening screen where it actually opens the doors.
Yeah.
Start of the game. That really impressed me. I hadn't seen too many intros like that. Most of the time, it just title screen right in the game.
Well, yeah, it's nice that it has more of an arcade feel title, like, beginning to it.
Yeah, it was one of the CoCo 3 games at the start there that I started saying, the CoCo 3 is actually not a bad gaming platform. It actually does look pretty decent, even compared to some of the stuff out at the time.
I'll let you know it has the potential to be if somebody bothers to take the time.
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, even for the time, I think that this would not be a game that would be disappointing to have. It would be difficult. But hey, at least you don't have to spend quarters on it.
Yeah. One thing I should do is I should talk to Doug Masson, the guy who did Contras for Sundog, because he has the original source code for that, I think. And say, because there's some slowdowns in there, like we mentioned before, like maybe he should do a little 609 optimization, because he would have much easier time doing it than I would. And maybe we'd do a re-release of 1.1 or something. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Because that was definitely a fun game, too.
I've given up trying to get Nick to do 609 versions of anything, so. I've even offered to get the code off him and just make it myself, and he wouldn't even do that. Right, Nick?
No, it's definitely good, but I prefer to support every CoCo and
not the special
not
ones.
expect everyone to have upgraded their CoCo 1, 2, or 3.
Although one of the good things about it is now that a lot of people do use emulators, it's easy to upgrade it to a 6309 emulator.
Yeah, just click a button.
Just click. There you go. I got a 6309.
Well, if you have an emulator, you just hit the turbo mode on that, and you can go as fast as you want. Then.
Oh yeah, who cares? Just 25%.
Right. You don't need a 6309 at all. Then.
Well, the thing is, when you overclock that, the whole game increases, including the stuttering. Like, it still will slow down at certain points, so it's not smooth.
Yeah, so you got it's a more major rewrite.
Yeah, or even just like I've been doing, but most of my 639 odds are just modifying a couple of routines, like throwing a TFM in instead of a stack blast because it's twice as fast or whatever, and then it kind of recovers the speed.
All right. Well, no. Sorry.
Oh, I was just kind of leading into the old Birkenberg power boost idea where you don't have to know the whole program. You just have to spot certain things, fix those things.
Yeah, that's
And
what he
you've
did. Well, the
gotten-
reverse versions of Nitrous 9 basically did that too. We kicked native mode in. That was the big thing.
But then, yeah, you look at certain things that can really be fixed with TFM or whatever. You do those few things, and yeah, a lot more could be done, but I need to move on to the next program.
It goes
And
down
that's
to
usually
the
what I did.
80-20 rules,
I didn't.
You know,
The only game I took time to rewrite good chunks of it was Rescue and Fractalus, and that's got like a 40-50% speed increase. But stuff like Gauntlet or Marble Maze, it gets a good speed up. Xenon was another one where I got some pretty good speed ups just changing like 2 or 3 little subroutines, and that's it.
All right. Well, moving from Warrior King, which is a stressful game to play, the other game we were playing this week was Shopping Spree, which is much less stressful. Unlike real shopping, it wasn't a stressful game.
Yeah, real shopping sucks. I hate shopping.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty good little. I think that's a basic game, isn't it?
Yes.
looks like it.
Yeah.
Is it pure basic or does it got a demo subroutine? Because that scrolling actually is pretty decent. So
It
I think it might
has
have a little routine.
Yeah, it has ML subroutines.
Nothing like
probably for the
supermarket
scrolling.
sweep.
It's like Rainbow Roach or Marathon that Rainbow published back in the early 80s for CoCo 1.2. It was basically a basic game, but with a couple of routines for scrolling, and makes a huge improvement.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, just a decent little game to play. I guess the biggest thing to remember about that game is don't get greedy with the coupons. If they're too close to products, don't go after them. Just
Yeah, because you can't move pixel by pixel in there, right? You're moving like a whole cell, so you're going to smack into one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not pixel perfect, and getting very precise placement is not an easy task, and it's the only problem with just missing one is more taking extra time than it is any kind of problem. So there's no real reason to have to really hurry and be rushed about it.
Yeah. So it's definitely not a European game because there's just one way for you to die.
Yeah.
Warrior King's kind of like it got a European flavor to it then.
Yeah, but at least
pixel perfect jumps.
Pixel perfect jumps, but the timer, you've got a lot of time to get through a level.
Yeah.
Like if it was a European game,
you'd have like
if
15
you messed
seconds.
up and missed one jump, you probably wouldn't have enough time to actually finish the level.
Pixel perfect leap of faith, and you got to do it now.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Kieran's reaction to this. That'll show up in the chat in about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
It's more of a Japanese game.
Yeah.
It's based on the arcade.
Yeah, there is a few things that could be improved in it, but I mean, it is a basic type-in game in Rainbow, so for what it is, it's a pretty good, solid game.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, some basic games can do really well with just a small routine. Like Rainbow and Hot Cocoa and others had full ML programs. You just typed a whole whack load of data snippets to poke in, like the Frogger clone Kroeker from Hot Cocoa, or stuff like Prospector from Rainbow, Zonks, which they're hard to type in. You have no idea what the code's doing because it's
they're useless. At least when you type in a basement game, you might learn something from the basic game that you typed in.
Yeah, and if you have this little routine that says this scrolls the screen, that's all you needed.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I can use this in my game.
Yeah.
But
I always loved typing in those games that had like 100 data statements with just a bunch of numbers that
and no explanation, and they didn't accomplish anything.
To what it's doing, and you
like Zonks
put in a 101 rather than a
Kroeker.
102, and now the whole game doesn't work, and you have to go through 5,000 numbers to figure out which one you got wrong.
Yeah, that's when you had to use Rainbow Check Plus to check every once in a while to see if your checksum matched the one in the book or in the amazing.
Myself, I only type things in to learn stuff. I didn't type to get the game. I could get someone to distribute an archive backup the game for me if I wanted.
That's actually how I definitely learned most of what I know about basic programming back when I was a kid, is buying those basic program books and typing
Well, right,
them in.
and it wasn't even what the program was trying to teach you. It's what you found out by screwing up typing in the program.
Not even screwing up, but just finding things like, what happens if I change this string from this to this? Oh, hey, cool. Now I don't die when I hit the land as I'm driving down the river.
Right, and why did this break? Oh, because substring works this way or whatever. You learn things by making the game work, where making the machine language program work, all you learned was, hey, Rainbow Check Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for some of the articles would publish the source code listing for the machine language, so you'd actually get a little bit.
Those
but
were good.
Most of them didn't. Yeah.
Well, I never could make EdTasm work, so I never got those to work.
I did use EdTasm a little bit, the cartridge version, but saving the tapes just sucked. And then they had that weird DOS on the disk version of EdTasm, so I never really did get into it. I think I used EditAsm from SirComp a little bit for the CoCo 3, but the OS9 assembler was just so much easier for me to use.
One thing about the source code is you'd be able to see what it looks like a second opinion of the code. So you might be able to figure out the opcodes and then go, oh, this is where I messed up.
Right.
Nowadays, you just use like the debuggers built into all the emulators. It's much easier.
And let it disassemble it and go, that was trash.
Yeah, that's not the right instruction. I'm looking at his source listing. That's not. Oh, I typed that number wrong.
I think the worst one I ever tried to type in was Color Quaver by Dennis Kitts.
Oh, the 4-voice music program.
Yeah, that thing was super long, and I typed it in 2 or 3 times and never got it to work.
He sold that commercially too for a while, so I wonder if there's a copy of that kicking around. It was
Yeah, I
supposed to have
think it's
more
on the
control over the
archives.
envelopes and stuff than most of the four voice players had at the time, including Musica. So
Yeah.
but we're getting away from games here, so take
Yep.
it over, Ken.
Okay, well, so with Shopping Spree, like I said, there's really not that much to the game, so don't get greedy because you don't have a timer. You can just hop around on the screen as long as you want until you get all 5 coupons. So
Now, is that a CoCo 3 game only, or is it a CoCo 1, 2, and 3?
3.
3. I wasn't sure if it was just like a CoCo 1, 2 game, but on 3 it had a different palette, or if it actually required a CoCo 3 to run.
sure. This was Sloopy's choice, so I actually have never looked. So apparently just CoCo 3. So
And it's a good choice.
Yeah, actually, compared to some of the ones I've chosen recently, it's a good choice. There you go. I go away for 1 week, and you have to just show me up, don't you, Sloopy?
Hey, people were so agitated with some of those choices that so they don't go away and bring down the whole game on. I have figured I had to give them something decent.
Well, I've hopefully chosen something decent this week. So, but
Detroit?
before we look at that, let's take a look at our live show. So let me just find where that is. There we go. And you can take it away, Sloopy.
And where am I going to take it to?
Well, you can talk about the game.
Store?
That we're
That's
doing
up to
here.
you.
Looks like 4 people playing coupons. I mean, Shopping Spree.
Yep.
Yep. That's how the show started.
Yep. Show started pretty good. As you can see, with 3 people or 4 people playing. I think at one time we had 5.
I joined later on.
Yeah.
Possibly at the opening here, we might have had 5 hiding behind the.
No, it was only 4 at the beginning.
Was it? I wasn't there right at the beginning.
Yeah, because David joined later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, David Kroeker and Marco.
Oh, here we go. Is that 5? There we go.
Yep. And Jim, I think it was Jim Rye dropped out.
Yeah, geez, Jim.
So, but yeah, it was. There were several people that actually got Warrior King running.
Like I said, I never had a. I don't know why people were having so much trouble because I never had a problem.
Yeah.
You're special, Ken.
So
it might be because I was using the non-patched version.
Hmm.
What was the patch supposed to do?
I have no idea.
I know David was playing from his original discs, if I remember, on his real CoCo. So,
well, no, he was playing on. I think he was playing on the CoCo SDC because he went and got the discs later to show us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was quite fun. Oh, one thing I wanted to point out on Shopping Spree.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that when you can go much closer to a item on the right side of your sharpen cart than you can on the left side. Like
Brian Blake in the chat mentions he was watching, couldn't get Warrior King to work, so he stayed quiet and played Quarks instead.
Yeah, because like on the left side, you have to have like a 1 pixel buffer, but on the right side, the end of your shopping cart can be right up against the item that you're going next to.
Only pixel perfect on the left.
Well, actually, I did one time when I was playing it, it did screw up because I jumped up into like right at the beginning.
Mhm.
I jumped up or down a level or whatever, and I landed actually right on top of something, and it didn't kill me.
Yeah, I did notice that. It happened to me. I was like 60% covering something, and I went to go down. It went down, but I hit up immediately, and it brought it back up, and I was like, wow, it didn't kill me. So it may have a delay.
Collision detection problem?
Yeah, a delay in detecting collision, but I don't know. I wasn't able to repeat that.
Yeah, it only happened to me
fortune.
once, so.
Yeah, maybe it's just messing with us.
Exactly, it's giving you a false sense of confidence.
The hit box is a hit rectangle. You can jump in and jump out and not touch it.
But yeah, we had up to five people playing at one time. I do believe we had 6 or 7 total players, but only 5 at one time. Which is going to beg the question, why weren't you there?
I was there.
I was. Couldn't play. But...
I wasn't talking to two.
Oh, I think you're talking to Curtis, aren't you?
Yeah?
Oh, sorry, what?
Why weren't you there?
Because I was working.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I had overtime this last week, so I wasn't doing much of anything else.
And then the other person that's here that wasn't there?
We were all panicking in Augusta about the snow coming.
Oh, that dusting?
A little dusting. Hey, I see half an inch out there.
Oh
no.
My word. It's a national emergency. It's a half inch of snow.
Well,
it's like you're on complaining it's only 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Well, down here in Texas.
Actually, half an inch of snow would probably shut Vancouver down.
That's true.
Nobody knows how to drive in the snow in Vancouver. It's hilarious.
We just had freezing rain here this morning. I know I had to scrape it off my truck.
Oh, wow.
But it'll melt off this afternoon because it's above freezing for like 5 hours straight. So.
Daddy Burrito says, this game is so hard.
Once you learn that trick of holding the joystick button down, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, it definitely. I was playing with that trick this morning when I was capturing footage, and it
makes a difference.
So
makes
what does that
big difference?
What does that do exactly?
Well, if you're holding the fire button down, you're swinging, and your character won't move. So then you can move the joystick up into the proper position to jump forward.
Oh,
so
and it won't do anything while you sweep the joystick up.
You jump from the spot you started holding the button down on instead of edging forward another step or two and falling into the water or lava or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always thought it was acid because it would dissolve you slowly.
It's
just like the
very
Terminator.
thick
It's
water.
like liquid lava where he gives a thumbs up as he's going down. It's like that.
It's very thick water.
Right.
It could be heated corn syrup for all I know. I have no idea.
That stolen maple syrup stash.
Yeah.
So, all right.
All right. Well, if people wanted to
Thursday at
join
8
us,
p.m.
okay.
By all means, go.
No, I was just going to say, if people wanted to join us, when and where would they do that?
When and where would they do that? Well, they would obviously join us Thursdays 8 p.m. on the CoCo Discord in the Game On Challenge Live channel.
Ah.
That's a lot of 8 p.m.s.
It's what time zone? Chicago?
Chicago.
No, 8 p.m. Eastern. Chicago is Central.
8 p.m. the right time zone.
So if I were, say, in
Chicago.
Vancouver or San Francisco or LA or something, what time would that be for me?
That would be
5
5
p.m., I
p.m.
believe.
specific.
Yes, it would.
But that's not right. That's left. So, yes, join us there where we will all be playing Shopping Spree. And you know what else we'll be playing?
No, I don't know. What else are we going to be playing, Sloopy?
We are going to be playing another game that Ken is going to tell us is...
Oh, I guess I got to bring up the something that...
He said it was a good game.
Oh, of course, it's on the CoCo.
No guessing on this one. So,
it's a laser game.
Marbles.
Quarks. Here, I'll just.
It's a space game, right? Because they sell.
It is a space game. I'll just show you the play screen here, which also says Quarks. So it's basically one where you match up 3 things, and you can move the blocks around so that they are in a different order, and then you drop them in place and have to make 3 of a kind, up, down, or diagonally.
This looks like Dr. Mario.
Ooh, yeah, it does.
It's based on the arcade game Columns.
I was going to say, which is a ripoff of Columns, which I used to play on my Sega Game Gear.
So, you may be asking yourself, oh, well, Quirks, where do I get that game? Well, if you go to the 8-Bit Guy's website, which I will post the link to, he's got his shareware downloads, and it's down at the bottom here for the Tandy Color Computer 3 or the Tandy Color Computer 1 and 2.
And the Dragon 3264.
And the Dragon 3264. So you can get the shareware, or if you would like, you can actually go to this site right here and buy the official version, which just includes a few more things, and I think more block designs, and what else does it include?
Yeah, you can also get a cartridge version of it and signed by the 8-Bit Guy if you really want to put some money into it.
So you can buy it as a digital download, a cartridge, or a signed cartridge.
And I was wondering what to spend. I was wondering what to spend my 88 cents on.
Daddy Burrito in the chat says it's a Gems clone because John Strong did a version of Columns back in 1991-92. So
yeah,
with the CoCo 3 as well,
which itself was a clone of Columns.
Yeah, that one's a little bit special. I'll just mention this quickly for those who don't know, but that was one of the few games that used the Orchestra 90 pack to do proper stereo panning while you play.
So that will be our game for the next 2 weeks anyway.
So. Yeah. I will mention, too, there's a little bit of an update on the Dragon version. I'll be mentioning the news here. I don't know if it's on the 8-Bit Guy's site yet, but it's definitely on the World of Dragon archive forums. There's been a slight tweak. It's more a graphic tweak. It's not a bug fix, per se. Okay. But I'll mention that when we get to the news.
But anyway, also I was going to say, if you can play it on any version, I don't think there's actually a difference, is there? I haven't tried all the versions.
Basically the timing's the same. The Dragon version, because it's 50 hertz PAL, the music's a bit different, but the gameplay's pretty identical.
So if you want to submit a score for the CoCo 3 version, the CoCo 1 or 2 version, or the Dragon version, I'll accept them all.
No Commodore versions?
No, you cannot put in a Commodore version score.
What about Atari?
Yeah, we knew you were going to say that.
Is that a real computer?
I don't think they have an Atari version.
I don't understand. What's an Atari? Like the 2600?
It's another primitive 6502 machine. That,
primitive with the most advanced.
Welcome back to the 8-Bit Wars, folks.
With the most advanced graphics computer until the mid 80s.
This group never lets it die.
Right.
Only because the games that are currently being made for the CoCo 3 outshine all of the other games at the time, so we can finally hold our heads up high and not be like hiding in the corner during the fighting on the playground.
Right.
Hey, there is some impressive stuff in the CoCo 1 and 2. So don't shortchange.
Actually, we'll be discussing that a little bit later in the news too, but I'll wait.
Well, there were, I mean, definitely the CoCo had good games, but it did not have near the library of the other computers. And
I don't think
well, it had better than some
visibility.
and less than others. I mean, I think Atari
Yeah.
and C64, obviously, Big 20 probably were ahead
Yeah.
of it, but we were ahead of the TI-99 or the Coleco.
oh yeah,
Atom or
well, I
something.
mean, TI-99 never even entered the fight back on the playground. It was always Atari, Commodore, Apple, and
Well, and the
because-
problem is, machines like the Commodore could lean on the SID chip and so forth. So if your game wasn't very good, it could still appear
hey,
good.
the Commodore 64 could also lean on that wonderful brown color palette.
Wait, but that's a good point. I mean, people got tired of bright, you know. It's like me going off about a new video game where no matter what kind of game it is, as soon as there's any action, it's all purple swooshes and stars and sparkles. It's
And Exile in Paradise, don't make me drop an Atari 800 on you.
Actually, Atari 800s are probably about the best thing for holding stacks of paper down and.
oh, nice and
The
white.
shielding is second
Oh
to
yeah,
none.
they have that cast.
Actually, I used
internals
my
or something, right?
I've used my Atari 800 as I was building my cabin. I would just set it on my roof to see if the roof would handle the snowpack.
Right. Hey, it holds 8 Ataris. We're good.
Hey, at least it wasn't a ColecoVision.
Yeah,
Right.
because my ColecoVisions are all in places of honor.
Mm-hmm.
I see somebody's asking about why there's no CoCo version of Petsky Robots. We did have one started and it's playable, but it needs a bit of a rewrite and rejiggering before it could get finished.
It's negative 35% complete.
All right, back to the CoCo stuff.
Well, I'm done with the Game On Challenge, so we can move on to the Snoozy Newsy if we'd like.
Yay, break time.
Time for a nap.
All right, let's see. Since today we have a Curtis, I press this button.
When you want the latest in TRS-80, Tandy, Dragon, MC-10, and all of their hardware cousins, no matter what it takes, or where news breaks, from around the world to your nation. The CoCoNation News with L. Curtis Boyle.
Okay, so first step out the gate, the Amigos reviewed Nick Rennie's Pinball on the latest issue or episode of the CoCo Show. This was recorded at a bit of an off time from normal. They were supposed to do it on Sunday, last Sunday, but they were in Snowmageddon like a lot of you were. And they ended up, I think, doing it on Tuesday. And Nick, I don't think you were able to actually join them live because you could have mentioned a few things to them for sure. They didn't give it a perfect review, and that's because they're pinball nerds. So they took into consideration that, you know, this is a non-math version of physics. And they definitely liked it for the most part. They thought the graphics and sound were really, really good. They were hoping there'd be a bit more, you know, table designs, etc. But generally, they pretty well liked the game. I'll just sneak in a little bit of the talk-in review here for those who are not
You
familiar
make your
with the channel.
grocery list?
Oh, and I
Pay
got
for
I
your
forgot
bucket
this-
list.
this-
Make so much more than money when you earn Scene Plus points
Okay.
with Scotiabank Everyday Banking.
Ooh, do we get paid for that ad?
Learn more at scotiabank.com/banking.
I forgot to switch the login. I'm gonna have to go change on my Windows here.
Oh, you aren't on the premium login.
As we get into
Yep.
it, Nick, this was released last year.
I will
Of
adjust that
course,
before I start playing the other ones
we've
here because that's going to be annoying as hell.
Nick,
Right.
before. Gosh, he's done a ton of stuff. We've covered a lot of his stuff over here. Just to talk about a few of the things he did.
Just out of curiosity, how many people are actually got
Gate
pinball?
Crasher, Popstar
on the panel?
Pilot, Gunstar.
I'm still putting it off.
I got it.
I want this.
Yeah, I think I got it.
Anyway, it's a pretty pretty good review, and it's pretty honest. I mean, they definitely had a few things they would like changed. One thing I wanted to point out, because this might have hit some other people too, is the way the tilt mechanism works, like for shaking the table, because they were under the impression, I guess, you have to hammer on the space bar to tilt. It would shake the screen briefly, but it would never seem to change the path of the ball. And that's not how it actually works. You're supposed to hold it down. The longer you hold it down, the more likely you're actually to tilt the machine and loses the ball entirely. But the longer you hold it down, the more it'll shift the ball pattern. And I don't think they quite understood that mechanic.
No, they didn't. So it's like on a real pinball, you don't hit the machine with the same amount of pressure every time. You can vary it. You can push it harder if you want a bigger hit, or just lighter if you want a smaller hit. And the way I emulated that is by the length of time that you hold the space bar down. So a very quick tap is like tapping the side of a pinball machine with your finger. It doesn't move the ball either. But if you hit it, if you hold the button down, space bar, for a little bit longer, and it's only a very fraction amount longer, it's like hitting it a bit harder. On the other hand, if you hold it for too long, it's like a very hard hit, and then it tilts. So you got that little window whereby you can vary the amount of tilt. I mean, it definitely works, because Buck Owen used it a lot, and he was able to play pinball for an hour, and it's all because of him using the tilt. So the tilt does work. They just didn't quite get how to use it.
Yeah, and as they pointed out, it's critical because you have a fairly wide gap in the middle where the ball can go down. So you have to use tilt to try to rescue the ball.
Yeah. I mean,
so I think it was just kind of a misunderstanding. So
when I originally wrote it before game testing, I did have more of a push on the ball. But then Buck Owens saw that, and he could run the game endlessly, because he never got the ball to go down the gaps. He would just tilt every time, and it was a bit ridiculous. Like the game wouldn't end, so I had to shorten the amount of tilt. But yeah, we're going from one extreme to another. Someone who doesn't know how to use the tilt at all to someone who knows how to use the tilt very well. So how do you get that middle point?
Yeah.
I did actually write in the on that review page a little comment about that. I haven't checked it to see if they actually read it or if anyone else has seen it. I don't know if you've got it up still there, Curtis. You can have a quick look at the comments section.
I will in a second here. I'm just kind of quickly going through the tabs here and reloading with the CoCoNation channel so we won't get stupid ads.
Actually, though, being weird makes sense, because pinball was all about, you all had a standard machine, but how was this machine not normal? Okay, so this is what your pinball does. It's not quite normal. Deal with it. You're the player. Play. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, how level did they install it?
Well, you know, every game, in the old days, you walk into an arcade and there'd be 27 pinball machines, and they're all basically the same machine, but everyone did something a little bit weird. So just get used to it. You know, maybe tilt on this one's way different than the tilt on that one. That's just how pinball works. And you didn't play the one you didn't like. Well, you know. I like it.
Yeah, their comments was like basically Nick made this look like a retro 60s, 70s machine, like with the the mechanical flipping numbers and stuff like that. And that was a very common thing. You had to tilt. That was part of learning how to play the pinball of that era. It was a lot harder than modern time. And that was something they were kind of covering because, like I said, they're definitely pinball nerds. They own pinball machines, like real ones, full size at home. So they're quite familiar with this, the way they worked back then, how they compared to the more modern ones.
I mean, the tilt mechanism always was a very analog control, you know, depending on how you bang and shake the table. So trying to emulate or trying to simulate an analog control on a digital platform.
Right.
That was the trick about how long you can actually hold the space bar for. But yeah, I get the impression that they were simply just tapping the space bar and thinking that a tap would make the ball go. Well, that would make it very easy.
Right. No, I see it. It's timing. How hard do you tap?
Yeah, it is.
You don't have an analog space bar, right?
No. So it is I did try to simulate a bit of an analog control.
Yeah, like one of the things they mentioned is that they would have preferred like some of the other digital pinball games where you have a tilt left and a tilt right, like two different keys that would hit.
Oh,
yeah,
to try to hit it the one way or the other. Like a real machine, you'd hit it on the right side, you'd hit it on the left side to try to steer it one particular way.
Yeah, that's a bit hard on.
I just checked. There's no comments. There's 2 likes on the comment you made already. I don't know if that's one of them. I can't see who the comment or the like person was, so maybe they did find out. Like one thing I wouldn't mind seeing if they when they do the next episode, which I'll talk about in a second here, is that they can do a follow-up if they discover new things about the game and maybe try it again, you know, in the meantime, knowing how the tilt function actually works and see if that improves their likability of the game.
Tweak the manual a little bit. Life is good.
Well, the manual.
Your manual kind of explained that, didn't it?
Did it?
I don't know if I read it. I don't know.
Nobody
if
reads them.
covered
That's the
it.
problem.
That's one problem. But I might not have put enough about how to use
treasure. You take a vacation in the tropics.
Right, that's the problem with writing a manual is you've already you know how it goes, so you don't know what you're skipping over.
Yeah.
Net me 8%.
Sorry about that. One of the other videos was playing in the background here when I switched the account.
All right.
Auto played for some stupid reason. Anyway, yeah, go check it out. I did want to mention they have announced the next CoCo show is going to be March the 16th. That's the plan. No, that sometimes has to change. But they had a vote on their Discord, and there was a dead heat tie between 2 games. One of them was Nick's. I won't mention which one because it might still come up later on. And then there was a tiebreaker vote right literally the last day, and it ended up being Steve Bjork's Warp Fighter 3D. And I know they played this at the formerly called Boat Fest, now the International Retro Computer Show, where I actually brought that game with the 3D glasses. And I believe Aaron has said that he has 3D glasses, so he's actually going to be playing it in real 3D, quote unquote. And you do get pretty good depth perception for those of you who ever tried Warp Fighter 3D on with the glasses on. It has the option of not doing that, just playing it with, you know, just as a plain game. Then it's a very, very simplified version of Project Nebula or something. But with the glasses on, you do get a 3D effect. It's actually quite pronounced. It actually looks pretty good. So look forward to that on March 16th. And if any of you guys have the glasses and have tried the game out, post a review in our maybe general gaming channel, and I'll forward them off to them on their Discord. Get some reviews in there. And Nick, I was going to ask you too. They were mentioning there was a couple of updates you've done to pinball. I think you're up to version 1.3 now or something.
Yeah, just a few little fixes, bug fixes.
Okay, is there any outstanding bugs that you're aware of right now, or are you pretty well got them all cleaned up?
Everything seems to work. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, important to note that this is the only pinball game for the CoCo 3.
Yeah, I know they were saying there wasn't too many pinballs for the CoCo 1 and 2, but actually they missed a few. Even the MC10 has one, Lost Valley Pinball. But there's the original pinball cartridge from Tandy, one of the launch titles for the CoCo 1.
Yeah.
Then there's Radio Ball that Tandy also sold, which is a bit more complicated of a board with, you know, targets that you can actually get 3 balls released at once. And then there's Pinball Factory by Mitchtron / Computer Shack that actually you could design your own tables, which the original CoCo Pinball could do too, but the Pinball Factory has a much better physics and more variety of building your tables. You can name them and make fancy little titles for them on the side and stuff too, which was quite a lot of fun. Next up, Elimist came through and did another review of a CoCo game, which is a graphical adventure game, but it's not a text graphical adventure game. It's all completely joystick driven, and I have not seen this one before. I'm not sure if this was done as a kind of a homebrew type thing, or if this was maybe a third-party one that somebody mucked around a bit with the credit screen or not. I didn't get a chance to fully look it up. But it's called Pirate's Treasure. And it actually looks pretty good. It makes really good use of the artifact colors, but it's completely joystick / mouse driven. And I don't know how many of you have actually seen this before. So here's the title screen. You can see it says by A. Noni Muss and Friends. So I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go check through ads. Maybe it was a computerware one or something that didn't get too much advertising. It didn't stick out in my head. But basically, fire button, use the right joystick to select the direction with the joystick and press the fire button to move. So you kind of go through and find things. And I'll fast forward to the actual gameplay a little here. So you can see how the screen's set up. It's got some really nicely done artifact graphics. You're outside the cave, so it's got standard descriptions like a regular game. And then you have your little compass here, but you actually move the joystick to what direction you want to move. And I'll play a little bit of it and kind of get a feel for it, but it's actually pretty decent. It looks like it's done in BASIC, maybe with some ML subroutines for doing text or something.
And he has all the colors.
You can see it does a little underline kind of thing over the direction you're selecting. Let's fast forward a bit here. And it's loading disk scenes like pre-rendered. But yeah, he's definitely using the extra artifact because you're seeing the sands.
This is all the artifacting, yeah.
And you got options for up and down, as well as the standard 4 compass points. And of course, Lumist always does speed runs. So I mean, he's going through this as fast as you can.
Oh, and this is just mouse for the directions and
yeah. So basically, you have to go in the right order. I think you automatically pick up things as you go. There's treasure chests you can get, but the graphics are really done well.
You're on the ledge.
Oh, there's one of those treasure chests you have to find. But has anybody else heard of this one? Like, I don't remember seeing an ad for this one either.
No.
Like, I don't remember every single ad, but
Yeah, the
so I'm wondering if this was like a homebrew.
Yeah, the artifact.
Sorry, what was that?
The artifacting's quite good, and the
yeah,
I like the fact that in the text he made the text with a wide font, so it doesn't
right. So it's not all different colors. There's not too much color flash in the text.
Yeah,
but not bad for a black and white screen. Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like it. Like the interface, I wish it had a little bit more because it looks like it's just like basically you have to figure out the order to do things. Like you don't actually interact with the objects. You just have to find them all, and you have to kind of go through the right order to do it. But yeah, quite well done. And
I'm going to guess
know a bit more of the history of the game here.
So here we have north and up. So maybe you hop over the, I mean, I see there's a little room to.
Yeah, and here, like you're at dead end, and now you find a chest with loads of chest graphic over top the background.
I would have remembered this just for the display. I mean, if nothing else.
And who sold it? Who was it distributed by?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, I don't recognize the game at all.
Oh, where did it come from? How did it get here? Yeah.
Like, was it a PD one like Mouse Maze by Sockmaster where he just made its own, just released it for free? Or is this something that was commercial and somebody just mucked with the intro credits? Or
I've got to think something that looked this good would have been noted before. I mean,
yeah, that's what I would have figured.
What I thought, yeah.
I mean, this is artifacting at the level of To Preserve Quandic type thing, which was like a 2-disc prickly pear game.
There were a lot of Apple games that were like this. They'd use the text mode at the bottom and then static graphic screens, data layover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we'd had that.
I'm curious the history of this game myself. And Daddy Burrito says in the chat he's never seen this one before either. So,
have you got this on your website?
No, I never saw the game before he did this review. So,
what's the name of it again? Pirate's Treasure.
Yeah. Now there was a Tom Mix Novasoft game by Greg Miller. It was something with pirates, but I don't think it's this game. I think it's a more traditional graphical text adventure.
You escape with the treasure. You take a vacation in the tropics and spend all the loot. And that doesn't sound like a savings account that's gonna
Does he mention
8% return.
What was that?
Does he mention in the video where he found it at the very start?
No. It's on the archive. That's all I can tell you.
All right.
So just came from somewhere.
Yeah. So I'm curious. Like this maybe is one that, later part of the CoCo 1-2's life, it might have been advertised for like a week or two with no picture and then just disappeared. Or it could have been we had some pretty good PD ones back in the day too, like especially later in the CoCo's life. So I'm not sure. I definitely want to research this one and get it up on my site at some point, but I got so many to put on the site, it'll take me a while. Anyway, definitely go check it out if you want to try something that's just joystick based. You don't have to like figure out commands and how they picked certain nouns and verbs. Next to that, we have Retro Trailer 2 on YouTube, which is not a channel I'm familiar with, but they did a quick little 2-minute video of playing Zaxxon. I will give them props up for using the right artifact colors because I've seen quite a few people use the wrong ones on their little demo videos here. And the only thing is he's got kind of a weird widescreen aspect going here. That could be the capture device if it was on real hardware, or it could be some of the older versions of MAME, I think, used to kind of stretch it. So maybe it's an outdated emulator too. I won't play it because we've all seen Zaxxon a bazillion times.
Yeah, I think Zaxxon just starts up in the opposite colors on a CoCo 3, and that's why everybody has it backwards. They don't know.
Yeah,
because
they don't know about the hit reset till red thing.
Yeah, they're sitting there hitting reset, and it's never changing.
Yeah. Now, CoCo 1 and 2, like a real CoCo 1 would randomly start on whatever palette.
Yeah, exactly.
So sometimes it was right, sometimes it wasn't. The CoCo 3 would always start up.
But in this case, the CoCo 3 was always wrong. So you had to know
exactly.
Change it.
Yeah, because there's no standard. So I mean, some games, okay, it's always right. So
right.
Next after that, this is a computerware one. I do remember this one. So a person named Henrique Porto of the CoCo Facebook group asked if anybody's ever solved the bank robbery case in Sam Sleuth. So if you see at the bottom there's basically 3 skill levels. There's the novice one, a case of the missing cat, which I've actually solved myself when I was playing it for writing for the website. Average, mystery at the museum, and then expert, the baffling bank robbery. And I've never won either of those bottom 2. He's won the middle one, the average skill level mystery at the museum one, but he's never been able to win the expert one. He mentions in his post here, said he did find the hat, the gloves, the shoes, the comb, and the purse. Has anyone else been able to win this on the hardest level? And I don't know anybody personally has. I was wondering if anybody here, either on the panel or in the chat, has ever actually won Sam Sleuth. And this is another joystick-oriented game, but it does modify your parameters. There's also some real-time stuff, like sometimes you have to drive your car around town, which you control with the joystick, and you go between different screens. There's a pretty large little cityscape you drive through with certain buildings and things to get, and then you interview people and all kinds of stuff. It's actually kind of like a hyped up Clue, I guess, type thing, a bit more complicated than Clue and a bit more fun, honestly, in my opinion. But first of all, how many of you have actually played this game before? And then number 2, if you have, how far have you gotten as far as solving the cases?
I played it enough to just get a feel for it, but I had never solved anything.
Oh, okay. Anybody else has played this? I'm kind of waiting for the chat to catch up because they're about 30 seconds behind.
It's one of those games I picked up at the Radio Shack closeout sales. So I have.
Oh, Radio Shack sold this? Because I know Computerware sold it privately, but I didn't know Radio Shack carried it.
I have a set of discs somewhere. I thought that's where I got it.
I mean, it was weird when.
Or are you thinking the Interbank incident?
Yeah, maybe.
Because it's kind of the same thing. It's also joystick mouse controlled. That's like 3 discs under OS 9. So.
Mm-hmm.
I do know when I was running
detective. Go ahead, Rick.
I was just going to say, when I was running around picking up the software closeout stuff from Radio Shack, a lot of weird stuff came out of their back rooms.
Yeah.
It could have included something like this that I never knew.
Yeah, because they did have express
you know?
order where you could order stuff from third parties, but they only picked certain companies.
Right, and in theory, you ordered that, but in practice, some of that stuff was at Radio Shacks and ended up in the buy this box of CoCo crap for $30 that I bought.
Or somebody might have ordered it and never came and picked it up.
Right.
Okay. Because I never saw any of the express order stuff ever available to actually buy at the Radio Shack. You had to know that catalog existed, and then you would order it, and it would kind of just ship for hold. But not too many people ever did that.
The coolest thing
here, anyway, didn't even know it existed because they Radio Shack personnel never told you about the express order.
The coolest thing, one of them had a dev pack, and it arrived as the manual, bound in plastic and everything, but it wasn't drilled. So I actually took a couple sheets of plywood and a drill and clamped it all together and ran a drill through it to put my development system in the binder. But yeah, they had a bunch of weird stuff at the Radio Shacks when they closed out. I don't, like I say, did they ship it there for orders, or did they just have some of the more popular things? You know, when I can get it for you. Anyway, I never saw this.
Yeah, I do remember playing it because we had a pirate copy floating around here, which also
Distributed
had one of
backup.
those things that if you didn't put a write protect on it, it would do the write, say buy your own or whatever type thing, and we'll write the disc. You couldn't play it anymore.
Destroy it for you.
Yeah, Tom Mix was famous for doing that too. David Lord in the chat's asking, did Kovich and Phil During write this? I think this was by Scott Cabot or something, one of the Computerware regulars, if I remember. I'd have to take a look. I think it's on my site. I think I do have it on there. I just don't remember what it is off the top of my head. Anyway, it's a well-presented game. It's also got some fairly good artifact graphics, so it's another one along that vein. And yeah, like I said, there's little arcadey bits as well as the standard, mouse and click where you get to pick things to go through or pick up certain objects, etc. So Interbank is kind of a larger version of this. This fit in the 64K. This one even would run off tape, whereas Interbank required, multiple floppies, and actually it's one of the few instructions from Radio Shack that actually told you how to run on a hard drive, because having to swap between 3 disks all the time, it was much easier to run on the hard drive. I would have it on EOU, except it requires a ton of graphics memory out of the main system app, which means we'd have to kill the entire windowing system, so you couldn't launch it from G Shell anyway because there wouldn't be enough RAM left, unless I ripped a whole bunch of drivers out. So that one will kind of forever remain its own self-booting thing to run on it, but it definitely will run in the CoCo 3. After that, Richard Kelly posted in the CoCo Facebook group this past week that he would like suggestions for which Atari 2600 game he should port to the CoCo, and you can go add your own suggestions there, but there's been quite a few, like Yar's Revenge is another one, River Raid's one. I did mention that Spectral Associates had started doing a port of River Raid 2 in 8889 because we found it on that old Spectral hard drive that got recovered. And it's not a playable demo, but you can actually run it enough to see, scrolling through some of the terrain on the first map. So if somebody wanted to pick that up, because I think we do have complete source for that, or at least pretty close to it, and wants to pick it up, they could actually probably go in and see if they could finish it.
You should port ET and somehow figure out how to make it good.
Well, some people argue it is good once you kind of learn its quirks. It's kind of like, learning how to do the proper jump in Warrior King.
All you have to do is jump back in time, give the guy another 6 months to finish it, and it'll be good.
Yeah.
Well, this could be those 6 months.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned Space Invaders, and I pointed out as a comment that Computerware's Color Invaders from 1981, which is one of the first 2 ports ever done, actually the graphics are based on the Atari 2600. It's a bit more similar to that than the arcade one, which most of the others tried to do. They also mentioned, somebody here mentioned Star Raiders, which Project Nebula kind of is a Star Raiders type thing. Warfighter 3D actually is a very simplified version of it. But yeah, Yar's Revenge and River Raid seem to be really popular ones. So, but if you guys have any other suggestions, if you played a lot of Atari 2600 games and you'd like to see a port of that done to the CoCo, and you're on Facebook, go to the CoCo group there and find Richard Kelly's post about it and put in your own suggestion.
Keystone Cops.
What was that, Nick?
Keystone Cops.
Oh, that's you mean Keystone Capers, the one from Activision?
Oh, Capers, is it? Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be a good one. Anyway, go put in some suggestions there. And then the last one, which just came out today, Rengen Blue, which is a website that reviews adventure games and nothing but, and they're trying to do it kind of in a chronological order, kind of like a chronological game does with arcade and just games in general. Returned to the CoCo for the first time in a while here, and is covering a game called House Adventure, which was actually published on Chromaset, which is a tape magazine, and this was from their January 1983 issue. And he's got like one of the little covers things they did. They did these little programs you get, because Chroma said you get like 10 programs once, just like T&D and a few others. This particular one actually had a picture, if you got the little instruction sheet that came with it, with little caricatures of the actual staff at Chromaset at the time. So we actually get to see some of the people that actually work there. This game also got ported to the Model 100, which actually became pretty popular. And then Jim Gary ported it to the MC10, but not based on the CoCo version, which I don't think he knew existed, but from the the Model 100 conversion from the original CoCo version. So this has gone around a few times. And there's the little sheet you can see in this particular issue of Chromaset. You have like a planner cover, a leaky tap game, house adventure, some utilities, a rowboat game, which had some machine language in it by the looks of it, and a little utility called ListMod, which also is machine language. And then you can see some of the screenshots here. It's like a text adventure written by Drew Haynes in Brooksville, Florida. And it's a standard, he's kind of mapping as he goes through here. Here's some screenshots from the Model 100 version of it as well. Now, he did mention that the author here, this Drew Haynes, did another one in Chromaset that's later 1983, but it has over 1,500 rooms to go through. So that would be a pretty interesting one to give it a try. That's a pretty large scale game for, 1983 basic. But anyway, good detailed reviews he usually does, that you can see with a ton of screenshots. And then he decided to run the Jim Gary one, which actually has a few modifications because apparently there's some bugs in this game on the original Chromaset one. And in that case, he decided to run the CoCo 3 with a palette change. So now it looks, white on black's a little bit easier on the eyes, I think, for some people. But anyway, very thorough review. Well worth your time. And then next up, we'll go to the regular news, which actually has some game-related stuff in it, too. Switch over. Okay, first off, talking about Quarks, which is the game to be featured here. Paul had posted up here a while ago that the Dragon version, which uses P-Mode 3 graphics and not artifacting, and also adjust the music to run with 50 hertz, was available on the 8-Bit Guy's site. There's a free download. That one's completely free. There's no cartridge version of that, so it's just free. He also mentioned the sound routines need some tweaking on the Dragon 64 in particular, because they basically shut off H-Sync interrupts during the V-blank period, so you get some pretty warbly music if you don't take that into consideration. I think, Nick, you've hit that too when you were working on probably a couple of games, Pipes and your Frogger clone. Joey.
It didn't really stand out much, but yeah, it does distort it a bit. That's a problem.
Yeah. Are you away from your mic because you're coming in pretty quiet?
I am a bit. Yeah, I'm a bit away from it, so I'll be getting close in a minute.
Okay. Sorry, he posted up here and he posted up the 8-Bit Guy's site, but then he did this thing here, which actually mentions us. And I'll just read it verbatim here for those of you that are listening on audio and don't have the video. It says, thanks so much, because people are complimenting on the Quarks game for the Dragon. He goes, I'm pleased that people enjoy the game. It was fun to write. I saw some feedback on the CoCoNation podcast yesterday, this is last week, about the colors being inexplicably reversed in the border graphics on the play screen. That feedback was spot on. I have no idea why I didn't notice that myself. Anyway, I've made the cosmetic update, and the latest version has been sent to David Murray to post on the 8-Bit site, or you can get it here in the World of Dragon forums right now. I haven't had a chance to check the 8-Bit Guy's site to see if that new version is up there yet, but basically you'll be getting the update that fixes the graphics. And I think that even affected the CoCo 1.2 version a little bit too. So if you want, the more graphically clean version, you should be able to grab that and give it a shot. And like I said, it's free for the CoCo 1.2 version. It's free for the Dragon 3264 version. The CoCo 3 version, you can get the free version, which has slightly less tile sets to choose from. Or you can get the cartridge version, or the cartridge version that's signed, where you get the extra tile sets, etc. So a couple different ways, but those are pay versions, the latter ones. Next to that, we finally have a firm date, and I'll be repeating this a little bit later when we get into the upcoming shows thing. But we basically got the next official Dragon Meetup coming up. And the dates announced for that are the March 28th and 29th, which is a Saturday, Sunday. So literally a month and almost 2 months. It's at a slightly different venue this year. They've been at the Museum of Technology in Cambridge the last few years. This will be at the Center for Computing History, which is on the same campus and pretty close by. I think they're literally, half a kilometer apart from each other. So you can still kind of see both of them if you wanted to do that. And there's already some people that have confirmed in the comments that they're coming to it. So if you're in jolly old England, near Cambridge, in the end of March, you will be able to go and attend an actual dragon-based show. And that came from Tony Jewell, who we've had on the show before ourselves. Next, then we get an update from Julian Brown. He's been working on this VDG replacement board. He's having trouble getting the fonts and stuff to work with the CPLD. And I think at this point, he's kind of decided to do a slightly different route. He says, well, after much tweaking and poking, it seems that I'm just not going to get an internal character ROM working with the chosen CPLD, which is a Mac 7128, which I'm not that familiar with, so you guys can tell me what that means. Initially, it was working, but the character data was not working correctly from the data bus. Testing with fixed data worked perfectly, ignoring some offset issues. Once I got the data loading sorted, the optimization reared its head again, and the resource requirements shot up. Not as far as it was previously, significantly less than last time, but still not low enough. The next version of the development board is on its way to me, though, and this moves the character ROM out onto a dedicated EEPROM. I've designed a bunch of alternatives to utilize other CPLDs and FPGAs, although I don't think I will need them quite yet. So it looks like he's just switching to external ROM because of the timing issues and working with the CPLD, maybe capacity on the CPLD as well.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. A CPLD can do anything you need it to until you need it to do it. And then you've run out of room. So you have to shuffle it off to a.
So would this be a case of just getting a slightly bigger CPLD, or would it be better to switch to FPGA?
No, because logic is expensive. So him going to an EEPROM to hold static stuff is a good move. It's just, you know, you start with all the space and then it disappears quickly.
But you know what's cheaper than an EEPROM is a Pi Pico 2. And that's what
that's
building the one ROM is using. That would work.
Yeah, but see, none of us want to do it the easy way. We want to bang our heads into the wall.
It's not easy. It's cheap, but it's he pulled his hair out to get that circuit in 2 layers.
Well, that's the fun of it, you know. We could all just stick a keyboard into a Pi and call it a day, but we don't want to.
I'm just catching up on the chat now because, of course, like I said, they're about half a minute behind us. So David Lord says a couple of friends wrote a commercial Sam Sleuth program. I don't know if it's based on the original CoCo one or if it's a totally separate thing. He also mentioned, I remember one of the screens had an animated school bus. There is, well, there's a car you drive around. I can't remember a school bus in the CoCo one.
Was it
Exile in Paradise mentions Cooking and Bob needs to read Random Terrains page, and YET is a good game on the Atari 2600. There's a good interview with the guy that wrote it too, actually, that Chronologically Gaming did probably about half a year ago. That would be well worth checking out, because once you learn some of the tricks from the author, it's actually not as bad as it sounds.
Well,
and it was definitely a game that was rushed.
There is a germ of a good game in there. Like I say, give him a couple more months, it would have been a great game.
Yeah. And there's multiple votes for converting the Atari 800 Mule. Now, the person who was asking the poll was specifically asking for Atari 2600 games. I don't believe there's a version of Mule for the Atari 2600. So,
no, Mule, I understand, is a 4-player game on one Atari. And so, you know, that'd be a little bit much, I think, for an Atari 2600.
Yeah, right. I mean, you don't even have a video frame buffer. You have a scan line buffer.
You know, a dot and a timer.
Yeah. Next up, this one I really liked. So Ron Lamardo, who is I'm trying to remember what he did for the OS9 Level 2 version 3. I think he wrote the new Shell Plus stuff, like 2.1, 2.2, and even the 2.9, which actually has subroutine modules, Shell 2 and Shell 3, for doing a whole bunch of stuff. We're doing 2.2a, I think, on the current EOU, because I like the command history, the way it's done there, better than the 2.9. But there's definitely some advanced stuff in there. But he actually dug out an old VHS tape of a bunch of the guys that were involved with the Level 2 version 3 project and kind of going through some of the stuff they had been working on, including Mike Holland, Bruce Eisted. Sorry, go ahead, Rob.
Is that a repack? Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah.
CoCo 3?
Yeah, in fact, he mentions in the comments here, if I remember correctly, you know, tell with Kent Myers, who since passed away, Mike Holland, the author of MV Campus, Bruce Eisted, who recently passed away too, Dale Puckett and his wife, who were actually doing interviews for the book that they never published, but Rainbow was going to do a kind of a history of the CoCo, and they were going to interview them. So this was done in one of the hotel rooms at CoCo Fest in Rainbow Fest in 1990 in Chicago, which I was at actually, but I of course wasn't involved with the version 3 guys. But it's a really cool bit of history here, and a little bit of joking around. There's one of their kids in the backgrounds and a little playpen and stuff, and they're kind of joking around with each other too, like, oh yeah, you screwed that up because now this doesn't work properly for me and all this kind of thing. Just general banter. This is Mike Holland you're seeing right here, showing some of the stuff in MV Canvas. I can't remember which version he was showing off here, but not the current latest version. But as he was adding in things, and it turns out Ron Lamarter's wife was a graphic artist used to using the Mac, and she was giving him suggestions of stuff to add to MV Canvas to make it a bit more Mac-like, because that's what a lot of people were, doing graphics artist stuff, were using that kind of thing. So I'll play a little bit of the beginning here, just so you can kind of see, maybe fast forward just to see some of the luminaries from the time, especially the ones that are no longer with us. But he mentioned on his Facebook post linking to this that Bruce Eisted was almost in tears because he'd repacked a CoCo into a PC case, and Bruce is more of a purist, I guess.
But you can't to carry a CoCo around. You had to put it in a box like this, just to hold all the parts physically, reliably.
Well, plus it gave you a nice beefy power supply, so you could drive multiple floppies and hard drives and serial mouse.
Hey, she's up.
So I've left messages to him on Facebook and on his YouTube video here, because if he's got any more of these, I would love to see these. This is a bit of history that was kind of behind the scenes. And then unless you were involved with the version 3 project, you probably don't even know any of this stuff was happening. And I'd love to see some of the progress as they were working, because it was several years they were working on this. Portandy canceled the CoCo, and they were not willing to take on the financial burden of trying to make manuals and everything else. I can't remember the might be colorful language scanner.
Trying to bring up his new G shell. In uppercase,
So that's Kent Myers, who did the G Shell Plus stuff. And actually, he gave me the source code. He's one of the few people on the team that gave me a source code so I could continue to prove it in the G Shell Avenue U is based on what you're seeing here.
You put the caps lock over here where the control key is.
Oh, I put it over there. I designed the keyboard.
I know a lot of people have the manuals like this, and then they make their copies, and they keep their copies in their disk files. You know what I mean?
And of course, he's trying to demo something, so of course things goes wrong, and he's also trying to learn Ron's machine where he put everything to try it out here.
Oh, is the AT keyboard, so the quotes in the wrong place, the ats in the wrong place?
Yeah, he was complaining about that. So he's running G Shell. He shows it both 40 and 80 columns, and
Oh. 1.25. Now it says about instead of KDM.
Okay.
yeah. So he's basically showing like G Shell 1.25. Rick, you might remember, I think 1.24 was the last public release before I started doing releases. Yeah, and then I kind of took 1.25 from Kent, and then I made my own modifications, like adding the 3D look and stuff, and then it releases a 1.26, which I think is the version that's still, or if I got 1.27 on the current UU, I can't even remember anymore. But yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do any of that stuff if it hadn't been for Kent saying, here's the source code, have fun. And out of the entire version 3 project, that's the only person that ever gave us stuff to help with Nitrous 9. So big thank you to Ken. Unfortunately, he passed away some years ago, which is a sad day, because I saw him at CoCo Fest every year. We talked the entire darn weekend. So I wish I had been involved with it earlier at this time period. That would have been a lot of fun. But just to see some of the other people here demoing stuff. Maybe showing like some of the overlay shell stuff that you can see in the current version. And then Mike Holland comes on. He was one of the guys in Las Vegas at the time. And he brings up MV Canvas. He's talking about some of the stuff. And he's talking to Ron Lamarter's wife, who actually actively used it and was one of the beta testers.
Yeah.
So if you just move off the menu, it's like a regular menu.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
But as long as you're on it, you click on
I
it.
wish I want the patterns.
Patterns?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Oh, I know why, because you don't have the new patterns.
Oh, the old ones didn't work, right?
Yeah,
Did
the
they?
old ones didn't.
Oh, good. That's what I thought. I thought maybe it was
Remember
just
that?
So you weren't going crazy. I never use it.
What, your standard patterns?
Ask her.
Oh, okay. The standard pattern? You don't have that in your startup, do you? Merge the patterns?
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
Do you? You must not have them in there.
I love demo edits.
That one guy
that's-
has kind of a New York accent, doesn't he?
Ron definitely does, yeah. I think he's from
Yeah.
New York, actually.
Yeah.
That's Ron's wife there, who's the graphic artist that was kind of giving Mike some recommendations.
The colors are different between the CM8 and the Magnum box.
CM8 door.
That much different. Quite a bit. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be bloom.
Now that comment there that the CM8 and Magnavox had different colors for RGB, I don't recall them being that different. They're RGB. I mean, the brightness might vary, but RGB is fixed. The composite, sure, you could twist around, but
Well, it's because of the dot pitch, I think.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
that could be. Yeah, the Magnavox had a better dot pitch.
Yeah,
and it didn't do everything right. It got its artifacts wrong because it was sloppy dot pitch.
Yeah, so when you had face pictures with people's faces and stuff,
where sign painters would notice the colors.
Yeah, right.
It would be wrong.
Yeah. Like the neck multi-sync 2 that I've got on the TC9 I showed last week. That's a 0.28 dot pitch, which I think the best one I ever saw.
Oh yeah, that's
CRT
half.
monitor.
That's half of double, or half, whatever, of the CM8.
Yeah,
which was for 52.
Yeah, CM8 was what 0.5
0.52
or something.
Yeah,
yeah, and the Magnavox is 0.42,
which was
and there was
just
some
enough,
neck ones that were 0.38. I remember that Marty Goodman used to use all the time.
because I think 48 was where you could really do 80 columns without being blurry. So the CM8 couldn't quite do 80 columns. So the M was just a block with the corner cut off. But anyway, the colors were better on everything else as well.
Yeah. So here's Mike Holland just kind of finishing this, and we'll see Bruce Isted pop in where the comments happen, and he's actually doing some soldering and stuff. He was the guy that did the Gimme clock fixes, if I remember correctly. He also helped design the TC9, wrote the first drivers for that. Frank Hogg, he did the Eliminator that Frank Hogg sold, just hardware design. He also did some of the programming for VRN and a bunch of other things too. So he was a jack of all trades. He did the hardware and the software at an incredibly high level. Serial Mouse, that came from him as well.
No, that's not how it happened. Well, it has to be prepared in a certain way as well.
This is what usually
And there's
goes on in
Bruce.
somebody's room at the Rainbow Fest. 5 minutes before we have to do something.
Is it 5 minutes before?
No,
It's an hour.
we're actually very early this time.
You got some solder I can borrow?
For posterity.
Oh, well, yeah. See what I've
He
done
never once
here
holds
is
it wrong.
Decided I didn't really want to solder
No.
on the entire.
No, you learn.
Yeah,
It's got all his hair
soldering
too.
on
So
tiny portions.
yeah, all his eyebrows.
Yeah, because Bill and I met him, I think, 2 years after this to take over the TC9 software development.
Soldering iron.
So that's kind of how I remember him when we went to meet him.
now for you analog guys, that's actually quite the honking soldering iron that's going
That's right.
on
Just
there.
flash that. Right.
We got 30 watts into
Just
a
as he's about to
little-
solder and
Just where I have the soldering iron very close to
timing.
my finger. Just
Sorry, well, move your finger. I'm doing it again.
no problem. So.
See?
well, it could be a problem.
So is this something you, Rick, experienced back in the CoCo Fest days, the earlier days there, where you have a presentation, you're going to do a seminar, and like
fact-
5 minutes before you go down, you're trying to fix hardware because it's not working?
Well, I can say I didn't attend the Rambler wreck with Frank Swagger 1 year because I was soldering parts to sell
I'll do it.
on Saturday on Friday night. So yeah, this is some people's hotel rooms for sleeping, some
Whatever
were
you
for
guys
soldering.
unsolder, you better be able to resolder.
But yeah, you can see a CoCo case repack in the background. In the 90s, this was incredibly popular. In fact, Rick, I think you sold cases for that.
It's just
the
a ground.
purpose, didn't you?
I did. I even had a handle on top so you could haul the thing around.
Anyway, so this.
And of
Unfortunately,
course, that's how we
the
found Bob Emery too, because he did a video on taking one of his old tower repacks there, and that's how we
okay.
discovered him, and that's why he's on the show now. So
This is solid here.
In the
because
80s,
CoCo's
I
so
re-
fragile. If you want to
Anyway,
move
so
it out of
while
your
you're
house,
watching
you've got to
this at home,
repack.
If you want to reverse it, just
after.
I repacked CoCo 1 into a DT1 terminal case.
That'd be cool.
And I'll play the last little bit here. They're interviewing Ronald Marta's wife about some of the graphical stuff she's done for that book that was supposed to be. Rainbow actually advertised the book because Dale and Esther, Dale and his wife, Puckett, who did the O-Sign column and actually been in 6809 and 6800 stuff even before the CoCo came out. You can see he's done columns like a world or a 68 microjournal and stuff like that from like 78, 79. He actually wrote some of the early commercial software for both Flex and OS9 2 from that time period. but they were going around starting to interview everybody, and Rainbow had actually advertised this book and were, kind of hinting at pre-orders and stuff. And then I don't remember the exact details why it got canceled, but it never happened. But the interview stuff they did, they still have apparently. Like Dale mentioned it on one of the Twitch shows when I was talking to him in the chat in between the taping. And I would love to get that back if he still has any of those notes there. And even it's not, officially a book, but to get some of the background stories, from the time it was happening, as opposed to trying to remember it 30 years later. But here they're interviewing Tracy a little bit, so I'll just play a little bit of that. You can kind of see what they were going for the book.
And for everything.
Four grabs of the ball. Our CoCo family. I guess this will be the story. Here. And do that. Let's try to go back to the beginning and pick it up how the two of you got involved with it.
Let's just, yeah, you go that side.
I don't remember how we got involved with it.
Clear. Go this
I got
side of the
involved with it
screen.
because Ron
You just
got
have to be
involved
across
with it.
the middle.
Oh, okay.
And you go clear. So you go like W1.
If I didn't get involved with it, then I wasn't good to do much because I used to go to his house and he'd play on his computer for hours and I'd fall asleep and I'd wake up and he'd still play on his computer. So he got me a graphics program so I could play on it as well. That's how I got involved with it.
What kind of graphics program was it? What was it?
It was like a first fest.
ColorMax or CoCoMax?
CoCoMax and
CoCoMax.
CoCoMax, yeah.
There, Ron, they started for the same reason you got into it.
Yep. Look at that phone.
So
the latest in telecom.
1990 technology in your hotel room.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's also
get the
has a
disc.
button for a hold.
But yeah, they were going around interviewing people by phone, in person, trying to interview people at Fest. I remember Dale actually mentioning that at a couple of the shows too. So I would love to see if they still have all that stuff recorded, and then that they could, get the notes and just release it, even if it's just loose interviews with some of the people at the time, before the memories have faded type thing. Because that would have been a fascinating book. And they were interviewing third party, they were interviewing Radio Shack people, the whole bit. Kind of like what Nick, you did with Coconuts, I guess, 10 years later.
Yeah.
Whatever time it was. And what happened there? Did I miss a story here? I was kind of like going through this thing as quick as I possibly could. Oh, okay, that must be one of the ones that decided to autoplay and kill off.
Right.
Basically, it's a Brett Gordon update. We covered last week that Brett had done an update to his the GUI he's been working on for the CoCo 1 and 2. In this case, he's added a utility to it for checking your disk drive speed. Which, because it's only a minute and a half, I'll just play it in its entirety.
Okay, I got 3 drives mounted. I have a CoCoNIC SDC and drive wire over to a grown-up computer. This should report, yep, drive 0's SDC, CoCoNIC, and drive wire bitbanger. So that's good. And if I go to the speed application, measures the speed of the drives. So you got your 4 drives, and we're going to do the fast one because I don't know. That should be the CoCoNIC. You got some fancy swirly graphics in there too. You see the CoCoNIC chugging away at grabbing sectors. The speed program
Fancy.
loads the disk 3 times, the entire
Forget the spinning
sector by sector 3 times,
slashes.
and then
We're
divides
going
by the time, which is interrupt based. So, and there you see we got 8660.
So I can't remember if he published a chart here, if he did it on the, no, I guess he didn't do it here. There was a chart that he did between the speeds of them, and actually I think CoCoNIC was the fastest and DriveWire is the slowest of the 3, which surprised me because I thought the CoCo SDC would actually run faster. One of them got over 10,000, I think. Maybe it was a CoCo SDC, I can't remember, but
Yeah, no, there's something
he
about
posted
the
about it on Facebook or the Discord too. So go ahead.
I'm just saying there's something about the STC that's just not fast.
I haven't decided what yet, but
Well, it's definitely faster than a regular floppy.
well, it is, but it's just not what you would imagine a CoCo bus to an SDC card should be able to do. And I'm sure there's a good solid reason why that is true. It's just,
yeah, it might be whether you open it in hard drive mode versus floppy mode too, because he has to try to emulate the floppy hardware, because some people did, copy protection based on timing. And if you go too far out of sync with that, it doesn't work.
yeah, you're screwed, right?
Whereas the hard drive interface doesn't care. You want that running as fast as possible. Because I think it does a mega read in like 18 seconds or something, doesn't it? I've tried it in a while, so I can't remember. Anyways, GUI looks good, and he's actually got these little utility apps and stuff, and he even does the little animated spinning like modern machines do when you're busy waiting for something to
I'm
finish.
way impressed. And he's doing
Waiting
the
for
whole
Netflix to rebuffer,
doing the whole sidekick kind of step out of the way and let an app run. This is really impressive.
Yep. And this is the CoCo 1 and 2 too. I mean, you're getting a nice little GUI for a 64K CoCo.
Right.
It'd be kind of important to have a good screen for that, huh?
Well, he's using the green mode, so the artifacting gets cut down. So it actually doesn't look too bad. Even
Right. And then when you jump to a program, I'm sure you get what the program does. And then when you kick back to here, well, you've got a nice little GUI going.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, none of the people that were actually at VCF Montreal last week, including like Frederick or Sockmaster, everybody else is on the show today. So I don't get to do any first-hand reports. But a YouTuber named Jeff Tranter put up a video covering it here. Now he's basically talking about stuff he was interested in. He's not a CoCo guy per se.
Is that an upside down CoCo in the shot there?
Oh yeah.
Printer maybe, or maybe it's okay. It is CoCo. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got the.
But we did hear from people that there was lots, like last week during the show, that there was lots of CoCos out there. And there's some, like, he didn't do any video recording, but he did do some still shots, and you actually will see some of the CoCos that are there. So I'll play a little bit of the intro here.
Or CoCo coverage than Ataris.
Oh.
This is a show. So here you can see this is Porta CoCo. See the battery packs that you can put on a CoCo. The MC10 version of the battery packs is out now too. And some other things they've been working on. So that was all down displayed there. I'll play a little bit more of the intro. We'll wait for another photo.
Short video describing my experiences at the Vintage Computer Festival 2026 in Montreal, Canada.
And I can't remember, I think there's some other CoCos hidden away here too. It's Porta CoCo here from the backside. The other thing they have, and I'll show this a little bit later on when we go to their website, but they actually have a mini CM8 with a battery pack now too. Which I
Those
don't
are
think was
cool.
revealed before the show. So
The Vintage Computer Federation, or VCF, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to preserving computing history. It puts on several regional vintage computer festival events. Most are held in the USA, making the cost and travel time a little prohibitive for me in the past. But when I heard that a show would be held in Montreal in January of 2026, about a 2-hour drive for me from Ottawa, Canada, I was excited to attend. The Montreal area is a good choice as it's a global hub for technology with a thriving industry centered on artificial intelligence research, video game development, and specialized software. The city hosts major AI labs from Google
the venue
and worked well. I had spent a considerable amount of time planning the demos and table layout, and it paid off. The show ran on Saturday from 9 to 5 and Sunday 9 to 3. There were about 50 exhibitors and vendors, as well as 10 talks given over the course of 2.
Yeah, 2 of the talks were CoCo and MC10 related. You can see some CoCos here, boxed up, ready to go. I know Henry Wrightfeld had mentioned in the Discord chat too, he'd taken his CoCo 3 as well as his Nabuta demo, and he sold his CoCo 3 because he's got a bunch of them at home. He did keep his Fujinet that he had with him at the show, but he actually sold it off to somebody. And I think that person, Walter, has actually joined our Discord since. And he was actually active in the ribs stuff back in the day because I recognized his name. So
9, 10.
good to see him back in the community again too.
I'm counting at least 11 CoCos there.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the tables where you have stuff for auction, also the free table stuff that they go through as well. Seminars, it could a little bit of mention here, and then he kind of goes into the stuff he's talking about. Maybe some Heathkit stuff that he did. And the Macs he had, the first gen Macs. But it looks like it was pretty well attended, especially for this is the first one they've ever done there.
And a good sized room too. So
yeah, and a lot of people.
Wood.
The Hyperion, which is a pretty rare one. And some kind of a competitor for the compact for the being the first PC portables type thing was made in Canada type thing too. So obviously a bit of a Canadian slant here.
You know what I was thinking the other day? We're kind of thankful that all these computer parts that get old, they turn yellow instead of pink.
Yeah. And here's some more CoCo stuff. You can see like multi-packs and all kinds of stuff here. MC10s. So there's a very large CoCo presence at the show, an abnormally large one. From what I understood, there was probably a couple dozen CoCos there, some for sale, some just for display, etc.
Like I saw that one, there was 5 on the table that appeared for sale, and then there were the ones in the boxes, and yeah, it was quite the. Here's a stack.
You can see some of the CoCo 3 manuals here.
Yeah. Couple of MC10s there. One
I
MC10.
could have found some stuff to pick up there.
MC10 right there. That's probably a mouse, I think. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
They went some of the seminars and stuff.
He's
like I said, he's not CoCo focused, so he didn't concentrate much on the CoCos as I would have done. But
they were there.
Just seeing them in so many backgrounds at different, display booths and stuff. Henry and Porto CoCo, and then whoever this is.
Looks like home.
Yeah, and it sounded like from what Walter was saying that some of the prices were pretty darn good, especially for CoCo 3s, especially considering how much they go on eBay for these days.
Right.
What's the average price on eBay? Like $350 or something?
Yeah, I'd ask Brian Weezer. He would know better than me, but yeah, probably
$350 is the good price on eBay.
Yeah.
Right now.
So I'm hoping next week if Henry or like Henry Reitfeld or the Porto CoCo guys, because they've been on the show before, or Frederick or somebody else can come on and kind of give their own opinions of it too, and maybe have some pictures and video and stuff, or even some clips from the 2 seminars, because I know Jim Gary gave one. And then Fabian, I think, gave one too. So there's a couple CoCo MC10 related ones as well. Kind of curious to see how those went. We did the one screenshot we showed last week when Sockmaster took one of one of the presentations. Next up after that, we have PW32X, who's active in our Discord, and he's been doing ports of download to a bunch of other video game systems here. And he does another blog deep dive into the inner workings of download, which is one he's been porting to a whole bunch of game consoles. In fact, at the end of the article, he actually talks about how some of the consoles couldn't do the double buffering techniques that are used here. So they had to do different things using tile sets. So he's talking about like Sega Master ports, Sega Genesis ports, Nintendo ports, and everything else. But he goes into the detail of how the CoCo version worked here for doing collision detection, which is mainly what he's doing here. And Nick, you can comment on this because you do more game programming than I've ever done in my life. So he's got 2 basic buffers. He's got the main buffer, which he redraws on the screen live. And then he's got the second buffer, which is just the background, which he uses for pixel checks to see if a ball or boulder has to hit in ground. Is the player jumping to catch a rope, etc. So this is the clean one where he takes the player position here and then does a scan to see if, these pixels got lit up or would be lit up by the player, in which case they catch the rope type thing. And I think you used some of that similar technique in Pitball, I think, except I think you had 3 screens or something, didn't you? Is Nick still around? Did he fall asleep? Anyway, I'm pretty sure he's done that for some of his games anyway. It's kind of instead of just double buffering to be alternating screens, I'm drawing and rendering this whole thing, displaying this one, and then when this one's done, you switch the pointer and say, okay, I'm displaying this one. He's live drawing everything on the same screen, but he's using this to do collision detection for catching ropes where, items fall. And he goes into details of how the original programmer, Michael, actually used a few little cheats here to do the walking across the rope, because basically it's detecting I'm in the middle of nowhere, I'm going to fall. And then he does a check for the catching a rope thing, and then it finds a horizontal rope. So he never actually does fall. That's how you crawl across. It's like fall, catch, fall, catch, fall, catch.
Okay.
Internally is how it's actually working, which is pretty interesting. And then he does, because the boulder moves 2 pixels at a time, he has to check for 2 rows of pixels below to see if he's hit ground. And then some of the other shapes only have a single detection area. horizontal versus vertical checks. Sprite area to see if he's going to fall through the floor. He should be falling. And you'll see here, it's not checking the whole thing. If the front part of his foot is over, then you're going to fall.
So this is the whole hitbox versus hit rectangle joke
Yeah, he's
that
not
I
using
made earlier.
hitbox
It's kinda-
rectangles here. He's actually using
you
specific
check
chunks.
the edges. Yeah, you don't check
Yeah.
the whole box. You check little pieces. That's interesting.
But because he's checking for individual pixels, it does a few side effects. Like you can jump onto a ledge on the side, and as long as you land with this little thing below your feet,
You can do all kinds of funky things like jumping against the walls and stuff that wouldn't make sense if it wasn't this fine. This all makes sense to me now. As someone who played Downland back when I could still play video games, I now understand some of why you get away with some things that you didn't.
Yeah, and here's describing like the walking across here. He said in the code, shimmying across a horizontal rope is actually the player repeatedly grabbing a rope, moving to the side, falling off, and then re-grabbing before gravity starts to affect the player's position. Okay. So you got to reuse the old routines to get a totally new mechanic without having to write any extra code at all. And then he starts talking about when certain shapes overlap. You'll actually see the player graphic and the rope, for example, at the same time. But what he does in the background is he'll just detect that he's doing that and just erase the rope with the player character over top. But you see, it says here, it only erases the rope when the player is in the climb state. You can see the player and the rope blending together while jumping off. So you can see it's redrawn the rope. But as soon as you go to turn to jump off, now it's doing both graphics over top of each other. So the rope shows up over top of the Mario character. And then here's where it's talking about the pixel perfect thing allows you to jump onto walls and actually it would catch the bottom. And then later levels, you have to do that to win them because the key's hidden over here. And if you just grab the key and fell, you die. There's the example in Chamber 5 where that's absolutely necessary.
You have to do that.
Yeah. It's a pretty ingenious way to do some of these mechanics, reusing routines you already had. And I know when I did a very brief interview with him by email 20 years ago or whatever it was, he'd mentioned that when he finished Downline, it was a 9.2K cartridge. And Tandy said, nope, we're not going to sell this unless it's less than 8K because they didn't want to use the bigger ROM chips. So then he had to compress the living crap out of it. He'd take some intro screens he had out of it. I think he even had some extra levels he was planning on that he couldn't fit in. So it kind of got crunched down to 10 different screens or whatever it is. And then he starts talking about here, porting it. So large memory machines made it nice and easy because you can do the cleaning buffer, but he said some of the older ones couldn't. So he mentions like the Sega Genesis 32X, the Saturn, and the Dreamcast have enough memory to hold both the frame and the clean buffers for doing this kind of detection. But the older stuff like the Sega Master, SG-1000, the ColecoVision, NES do not. So then you had to do some special things on the tile-based ones. So he gave not only some background on Downland as it runs on the CoCo, but he also gave some background on his ports to all the various game machines, which I think is now making Downland probably even more ported than Dungeons of Dagger at this point, because we have Vectrix versions of that. There's a PC version of that too. So we have a couple killer app games for the CoCo that are popular enough. They're getting ported to other machines.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Next up, here's some surveys you guys should take part in if you're into gaming at all. So the 8-Bit guy is currently working, as we mentioned last week, on a long-form documentary of the CoCo, basically the history of the CoCo. And it's going to take him a bit longer than he originally planned. He was originally hoping to get out by the end of January, and he said it'll be a bit later than that. But as he's going through, he's been posting some of these things, I think, to include some video footage and maybe even talk about them in some way. So the most recent one he posted yesterday is, now I need your favorite CoCo 3 games that will run on a stock 28K. And yes, this is for the documentary he's working on. So I added a bunch myself here. And you can go vote if you want to upvote some of these if you think really show it off. Or you can add some other ones if some of us have missed some of these because I just quickly took like 20 seconds.
Where's Rampage?
Is Rampage on here?
We got to do better than Dexter.
And the weird thing is like CoCo 3 games and they're throwing like Donkey King. That's not a CoCo 3 game. Double Back, not a CoCo 3 game. Downland, not a CoCo 3
pretty
game.
good.
Yeah. Shock Trooper, Sailorman, Springster is a CoCo 3 game, but none of these other ones are. So
yeah,
I don't know if people just didn't quite read and just thought it said favorite games. But I added a few myself here, these highlighted ones like Xenix, Crystal City, Gauntlet 2, and Photon definitely are in my list. Some other ones I hadn't thought of, which is kind of cool, like Power Stones of Art. But you can see there's currently some winners are like Thexter, which is good, but I mean it's a bit substandard compared to some of the other Thexters, so I wouldn't have picked it. But it is a fun game. And this is the original Gauntlet, and that's spelled wrong, so it's spelled like the arcade game. So anyway, if you have any other suggestions, or if you want to upvote some of these that you think you should include in the B-roll to put in the documentary, please do. It's in the CoCo group on Facebook. Pardon me?
Did he say he wanted? Did he say he
Yeah,
wanted?
he said for the CoCo 3, and a lot of these aren't.
Right.
And I'm not quite sure. People just don't read directions. It says quite plainly up here, CoCo 3 games.
All right.
They did put Rupert Rhythm. Chad Edward added that for you there, Nick.
Oh, indeed, my favorite one.
Wee bit of sarcasm there. But yeah, some of these aren't at all, so I'm not quite sure why they did that. And there's some discussion of them in here too. And Chad says too many of the games for the CoCo 2 in this list should be limited to CoCo 3 games only. I totally agree. And then some discussion on stuff like Rad Warrior, the nice cool effect it does at the end when you melt the reactor down. Now, we did another survey a couple days earlier, basically asking for games that will run on a CoCo 1 or 2 with 64K, so any size, and disc-based. He specifically says disc-based. Now, Zaxxon was sold disc-based by Datasoft before Tandy took it over, but Tandy only sold it as cassette, so that one I'd let go. Tetris is a cartridge. That's not a disc-based game. So right away, we've got some little glitches here as to what they're picking as well. Most of them are pretty good. Marty's Nightmare is a CoCo 3 512K game, so that shouldn't be on this list whatsoever. And then I added a bunch down here that I quite like. So, but yeah, go and vote those up too to make it part of the documentary. Right now, it looks like Zaxxon is definitely leading by a large shot. Sailorman's coming in second. Buzzard Bait's not too far behind. Some of these shouldn't be on here, as I mentioned, but yeah, if you guys have any other ones, you should, like, maybe you guys want that shopping game from the Game On Challenges, top end CoCo 1 and 2 game. I don't know. I'm really curious to see how this documentary is going to turn out. See what he thinks of the CoCo afterwards. I know he said he's been surprised a few times. I don't know if he's going to get into stuff like OS 9, the fact we had a preemptive multitasking operating system with multi-user capabilities, which I don't think anybody else at the time had. So I'll be curious to see.
It would be hard to explain how the Commodore is better than that, so I expect not.
I just read Excel and Paradise Comics. Curtis has made 40 fake Facebook accounts to vote up Lancer. Honestly, I'd probably pick Pegasus and the Fan Riders first, or the transcode. Oh, the transcodes. Let me write that down so I don't forget. I'm going to throw those on the CoCo 3 list. Except none of the transcodes will fit 128K. Never mind. If he does a 512K one, I'll have to throw that in.
Well, throw in Rampage.
Yeah, you should. Next up, we've got an update from Grant Lee. He's kind of talked about on the show here, but this is posted to the actual CoCo Fest update, which is kind of give you the details of when to order tables, how much the cost of them are, how to get onto the speaker list, what actually will be served for dinner this year. It's a little cheaper than last year, actually. And for those of you who do not watch the video version here, I'll just mention that the dinner will be choices of Caesar salad, meat lasagna, pasta Alfredo, roasted vegetables, tiramisu, rolls and butter, soda tea, and coffee. Last one, of course, being the most important by far. And they're looking for donations for the auction, of course. Next after that, and this is what we were talking about with Ron earlier, that he did a little demonstration here. So this is the Wikipedia viewer that's available now on the Fujinet. And this is actually by the author that wrote it, Rich Stevens. And he goes through and he shows the CoCo 1 and 2 version with the 42 column by 24 row graphical font, so you can fit more in the screen, like something more than a 40 column screen width. And then he shows the CoCo 3 hardware text version a little bit later, which obviously is going to be a bit faster. I don't remember if his commentary, but you definitely get to hear the typing sounds. Well, this is obviously on, a nice clean screen compared to what the original CoCo would have looked at, but it looks pretty good. You just search for Tango and Cash, and it's bringing up like Wikipedia articles on the movie itself, who the actors were, etc., and brings it up so you can go take a look at it. And now he's going to switch the 80-column hardware text on a CoCo 3, which definitely displays a bit faster and fits a lot more text on the screen. Add some color. And Ron, this is what you were running on your CoCo 1 and 2, right? Have you tried the CoCo 3 version yourself? Or
No, not yet. Yeah, I got to switch the pack, I got to flip the little switches.
Yeah. I'm really waiting for the non-dongle version that doesn't need the bit banger, because I think that would run a heck of a lot faster.
Well, how much? Yeah, what do you need?
Well, if I'm multitasking at
playing
OS 9, I definitely
games
want
or
the extra
something,
speed.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you're just doing this stuff,
If I can run it at hard drive speeds, that would be awesome.
yeah, that's the ultimate, right?
Yeah. But on the other hand, I mean, this is good. I mean, we've got multiplayer games between cross platforms. You can play all over the world together. You've got the weather app, the ISS tracking app. Now we got Wikipedia. There's a few other things there too. Like they're constantly expanding the library, and this is of course cross platform. So Atari 8-bits and Commodore 64s and CoCos all can do this kind of stuff now, which is cool. So yeah, I know it's been a bit stalled. I guess I noticed that one of the people that have been working on it's had some health issues. That might be even talking about Henry for all I know. So hopefully, if that's the case, hopefully he's getting better.
Henry Gernhardt, whatever
Yeah.
his name is.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that happens. I know some people were asking about Franklin Harris, who actually went through some health problems the last 3 months too. He's actually told by his doctor not to work on things too much here, and he's just starting to get back into things. So he's catching up on orders for all the stuff that Retro Rewind sells. But pretty soon we should see the CoCo SDC 2 coming from that too, which has some pretty cool features that I can't talk about. Next after that, I thought this would be a good one for you hardware guys, because some of you might remember this from back in the day, but there was a Radio Shack Armatron, and there was a hard CoCo series of articles in 85, I think it was, that actually told you how to kind of gut it and put the different motors and stuff in it. And then you could actually program and control it from the CoCo. And this is a post by Chad Edward in the CoCo Facebook group, who was kind of asking, anybody else remember there being something where you could control the arm with the CoCo? I definitely remembered that.
There was a similar project not for this, because this was not a real electronic toy. This was an electrical toy. There was a motor, and the levers moved gears and shifted a transmission to move the thing around. But there was a similar toy that actually had servo motors in it that was adapted to a CoCo, and I've been looking for the article for the last couple of days, and I haven't found it.
Wasn't it in the Radio Electronics magazine?
I believe so, and I'm going to wander away for just 1 second.
I should have that in my library, because I remember
Yeah,
reading that
because
article.
one thing it mentions, like this has been a really hot topic, because this was only posted on January 26th, so like 5 days ago, and there's 200 comments already. And one of the things they mentioned here, this like Compute Magazine told you how to modify it and add DC motors, but they mentioned the Hot CoCo, which is a series of articles over several months, doing basically the same thing, gutting it out and then actually having the CoCo control with better controlled motors and stuff. And
so there were these similar
discussion
toy arms that just use servo motors to start with.
Here, let me stop sharing so people can see this for just a sec. And if you want to highlight them there, Martin.
Yeah. Okay, it's this one's a little late, but it's a similar thing, except it's just powered by motors.
How much
and
does that sucker run?
You had a little thing. I mean, it was another cheap toy, but this you could actually drive with the interface board, where the Armatron was just a gear, and you could have had motors move the levers for you, but that wouldn't have been the same thing at all. But I remember a project for one of these. In fact, I bought this thing, collector eBay thing, to make it, and I never got it made. But anyway, this is the other toy that was similar to an Armatron that they're probably thinking of when they remember a project to interface to a
Was it like
computer.
$60? How much does that thing cost?
Yeah, it was about the same price. Yeah, it was, as much as you would pay for a toy, 40, 50 bucks at the time. Anyway, I always wanted to do something with Armatron until I figured out how it worked and realized there's nothing you could do with it. It was
You'd have to have a motor driving each of those.
a
planetary
robot to
rings.
move the levers.
It was a gimmick.
But it was cool, but that's all.
Yeah. Like Terry Trapp mentioned it, but here, and he's actually pointing to the Pacific articles, like the January 1985, February of 85 articles of Hot Cocoa here.
Do they actually come up?
That's almost like
Well, you can
repackaging
just
a
hit the archive,
CoCo. You
the optical.
ripped everything out of it that was in it and put different things in it, and wow.
Like Gary
didn't wanna work
Krynan
that
said,
hard.
Trap, I did this to one following the Hot Cocoa articles. I had it working for a bit, set it all in the late 80s. Now I have an untouched Armatron device covered. So,
right.
And this was another mobile Armatron.
That would have been fun. We got a camera and all kinds of things going on there. Yeah.
That's actually got a lot more motors in it. The elbow is just locked, but there's a motor. I have one. There's a motor for the at the shoulder and a motor on the wrist.
So you drive it around and look it through the camera?
Mm-hmm.
Like this coming from Charlie Thomas. I had one noisy and drains D batteries like crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're burning up all your power slipping clutches the whole time the thing's running. It's what is the worst design you could imagine? Okay.
Well, fortunate that Radio Shack sold batteries.
Oh yeah. Battery club.
Did
if
you just
had
take
12
one? You could use
friends.
your battery in the month club and get one every month.
Right.
Try it again.
You and 12 friends,
Or
and
these
keep that sucker
low
running.
Armatron. You can use it every 3 months.
I was
or 4
always
months.
intrigued with rechargeable batteries, but to me, they always seem to work pretty good. Okay, pretty good, sort of good, not so good. Nah, don't charge. After a while.
Right. Well,
There's a YouTube video here apparently that actually shows the insides of the Armatron exactly how the thing works.
Yeah, that's quite the disaster video. If you ever take one of those apart, it's done.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like all the posts I've seen on the CoCo Facebook group over the last year or two. I can't remember one that got 200 comments within 5 days.
Right.
Even the polls on games and stuff don't get that much, so it definitely piqued people's interest.
You know
And
what?
people
All these,
talking about, they did the mods then from the Hot Cocoa, and others just had the Armatron just to fiddle with on its own and stuff. So
with all these printers, you can have your PC make things. You should be able to make something like that over again. With more closer tolerance parts, and that actually probably would last longer. And
Well, now with the world of 3D printing, you can make odd looking parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
right.
do like
but
this
now you
comment
just-
kind of following. Go ahead, Rick.
I was just going to say, now you just hang a couple of servos on it, but this thing was incredibly complex. I mean, they had different frictions of plastic rubbing against each other and springs and.
Well, kind of following what you said earlier, Rick, about taking it apart, and then it was like a disaster video. Travis Carney says, as a kid, I disassembled my Armatron, and the gears went flying everywhere. When I put it back together, there were 3 gears left over, and the thing worked just fine.
Oh, jeez.
Right.
That's typical over engineering, huh?
Right. Well, for a kid, but they're going to break one of the gears. So if you got a couple extra ones in there.
And there's this ROB one. I'm not going to click on the wiki article.
Yeah,
That's another type thing.
stupid Nintendo.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, but there's a huge discussion on this. So if people want to kind of get into it, do any of you remember the Hot Cocoa articles? I didn't get a chance to look at them. Obviously, Terry Trapp remembered them, and a few others have mentioned it. So
Oh yeah,
there
I
was a
still
whole
have
series
the
on it.
series. I always wanted to do it, but I never had the parts or the money.
Throw away a $50 toy to make the.
Yeah.
$50 in 1984 money too. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like $300 to make the stupid robot thing that I'll use for a week and throw away. Yeah.
Can't really do much with it. I can spill salt with it.
Right.
Anyway, like I said, I've never seen an article in quite a while generate that amount of comments. So
No, that's
you hardware guys or anybody who ever tried this, you should go comment down there too if you can. Next up, Porto CoCo, who is at the VCF Montreal show. I just decided to go check their site out to see if they did mention about the show in specific, but they do mention some stuff coming out recently. So there's some pictures of them. But here, first, brand new Porta Mini CM8 monitor. Was this shown at the last CoCo Fest?
yes, they were walking one of those around. The kid was walking one around, showing it off.
Okay, so it's
very impressive. It's
so are they using like just in a little LCD screen or something, or
yeah, it's a flat screen and
3D
a
print
tool
case, I'm
motor
guessing?
in the back, and yeah, it's exactly what it looks like it is.
The kid is Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie. I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah,
I'm
and they
old.
show the
Charlie and
CoCo
Mark.
3, which we've all seen, where you just clip the battery on and basically you run around with that. The MC10, if you want to run that MC10 on battery. CoCo 3 version. The original version for the CoCo 2. I like this one though.
Yeah, and that was the prototype he was showing, so this must be production now.
And it has a door.
That's a door.
Yeah, I'd like both CMates.
It's a reproduction.
Speaking of rebuilding old hardware here, there's a post in the Club Color Brazil, which is basically the Color Computer Club in Brazil. This covers like the CP400, CP400-2, Codemax, all the clones that Brazil did because copyrights didn't mean anything in Brazil back in the 80s and 90s as far as computer hardware went. But Mauricio Matte said that Professor Victor Trucco, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name right, has decided to develop a clone of the high-resolution interface used in CoCoMax for the joysticks and the mouse. And this, of course, gave you a 256 by 256 resolution. And now hardware-based was much quicker and didn't require as much programming as the high-res interface for the CoCo 3, which basically is a comparative RAM thing. You have to keep taking samples, but you can get a high resolution. You get 640 by 640. But he's actually going to be redoing this. So people that get the CoCoMax program or CoCoMax 2 but don't have the hardware or have a way to patch it to run with, say, the hybrid joystick interface or a regular joystick if you want pretty coarse resolution. He's planning on manufacturing these and selling them. So you will have a way to get CoCoMax high-res cartridges again in the future.
How many
so
of you
keep an eye on
guys
that.
had the crack? So you didn't need the
Okay, so
interface
which crack are we talking here?
The CoCoMax interface crack. You didn't have to use it. It didn't have as
No,
much.
did you replace it or did you just get worse resolution wrong?
No,
like you're probably more familiar than I am.
Yeah, you just use the joysticks in your normal joystick ports, and it would work. It's
I'd imagine you can't place stuff pixel perfect, then you have to like do it every 4 dots.
No, it doesn't have the same features. I mean,
oh, the older, yeah,
it was
okay.
a crack. That way back when it first came out, somebody cracked it, so you didn't have to use the interface. It was all software run.
Yeah, because they're using that technique that Sock and Nick came up with for doing high res with the standard joystick port, just through some incredibly precise timings and how capacitors bleed off in real time and all that kind of stuff. You could patch it theoretically to run high res just with the plug in the joystick port too.
Yeah, I'll post it on my.
Yeah, I think they had like a
Ron's drive.
more of a copy protection idea, not high res, right?
Well,
it was both.
Yeah,
it did have an 8-bit ADC chip in there, if I remember correctly. So you get 8-bit readings. You get 256 by 256 resolution, basically.
I'm thinking there was a sliding menu, sliding window option or something.
Well, it didn't have, like, if you were drawing a line or something, with dots, it would skip some. It didn't have them all. You know what I mean? There was always
that's a 64 by 64 resolution a standard joystick would have, because you're on a
Yeah.
screen that's 4 times wider, 3 times higher.
Yeah, it was.
And this lets you do
amazing to see
pixel
it work,
perfect.
but it was also almost useless.
Oh, okay. So the program would run without the
Yeah.
hardware, but
but it was
Distributed backup wasn't really.
Well,
all
once it was
that
hacked, I don't think it ran it. I don't think you could read the joystick at all without the hardware on the original one. The hack version, I think, just lets you use a regular joystick, but then you're stuck with you can only do every
But
4
yeah,
pixels
you don't
horizontally
get
or every
all the-
3 vertical.
all the goods.
Yeah.
And then, of course, with the CoCo 310, he brought out the hybrid joystick interface that Steve Bjork designed to be dirt cheap, unlike the CoCoMax cartridge. And, Color Max 3, Color Max 3 Deluxe, MV Canvas and stuff within OS9 all use that. So I think, if I remember, CoCoMax 3 came out with their own hardware for that too, didn't they? Or did they? I think they had a slightly different interface, if I remember. Did you use CoCoMax 3, Ron, or did you use Color Max and Color Max 3
it didn't
Deluxe?
have an interface. It
Oh,
didn't
so
have
just
an
use the
interface.
Tandy one?
Yeah.
No,
No, it didn't. It didn't use any. It just ran.
Oh,
so how did they
okay.
do the high res? Because that's even worse than the CoCo 1 and 2.
So we had this one.
Oh, here, I'll stop sharing so everybody can see here. Sec. Want to zoom up, Rick, there, Mark?
Yep, it takes
Oh,
me a
yeah.
second.
That's for.
So you
Oh, the
had
high-res
this.
It's colorward. So that's the CoCo 3 high res
Yeah.
interface.
This is
But-
the high res CoCoMax, which
How did you
came
get a
with-
yellow labeled one?
It got no, that's what it was. I got the
mine was white.
Super CoCoMax kit here, which came with
Max 10 and
Oh, yeah.
every CoCoMax thing, and a nice little box full of
I
stuff.
saw a high-res interface for sale on
But
eBay for $125.
But this is actually a Tandy box that has been dongleified to let CoCoMax work
Okay.
on it. Which
Yeah, I remember there was a company that sold one that you could flip a switch and it would actually work with both modes as a regular high res
Oh.
interface for like OS9 and Color Max,
But
and then also
you'll
work with
notice
CoCoMax.
this doesn't have the cassette feed through. It's just the joystick going through
Yeah.
and coming out again. But this is how you got your high res on CoCoMax 3. I guess.
Okay.
I knew I had something around here to that
Good job.
effect.
I haven't used it in a long time.
Right?
Yeah, I
No,
remember at the
it's-
end, Color was selling a bundle of CoCoMax 3 with Max 10, their full GUI word processor. Did you use that at all, Ron?
No.
Yeah,
some
this
of that
is in
stuff,
fact
unless I
that
got it-
bundle.
unless I got it free, it was too expensive for me to buy it back then.
You got Max
Edit,
Edit,
that's for editing the fonts and stuff, I think, if I
Yeah.
remember.
I
or
have
patterns.
You
all
got-
the fonts.
CoCoMax.
Yeah.
And let's see, we got some CG printing thing, some CoCoMax 3.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll sell you an A-bus.
I had one of those.
One of those.
I sold mine to Linville.
Cool.
Because I'd love to see Max 10 being demoed at some point, because it was like our GUI
Oh, that was awesome.
word processor with full fonts and everything else too. So
I did a lot of my Connect stuff on Max 10 because it looks so. If you printed it full size and then you shrunk it down to the size of these booklets that everyone used, it
Well,
came
it
out
looked good.
perfect. You would never guess that it was printed on a CM 105, or whatever.
Was it Jeff Vavasar? How do you say
Vavasor?
his name?
Vavasor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Did he make it? I think he made it, didn't he?
no. He made the CoCo 3 and CoCo 1 and 2 emulators.
Oh,
Right.
not
Dave
the,
Stamp did. Is it Dave Stamp did the original CoCoMax? I'm trying to remember who did the. Oh no, Dave Stamp did the later one, I
Not-
think.
I'm
Right.
thinking of Max 10.
The guy who did the Vermeer documentary is the one who did the original CoCoMax. I'm
Oh.
blanking on his name for the moment. Tim something.
I hate getting
Why am I
old.
blanking on his name? Yeah.
Should give credit to.
I
other
don't
people
remember
as we get
anymore.
older.
3 seconds after we sign off, I will remember all of these names, every date.
Yeah. Because he was interviewed on Twit because he even talked about some of his CoCo days. And then he moved to the Amiga. He did the video toaster, etc. And then he did that documentary on how Vermeer made such realistic paintings using some technology from the 16th century or whatever it was, 17th maybe, to be able to virtually trace what he was looking at, so he could get perfect folds on clothes and lighting and stuff that people just couldn't figure out how the hell he was doing it. It was using some tricks with lenses and things.
Oh, the whole camera obscura tracing things. Wow.
Yeah, and it was a pretty interesting documentary. Like Tim, why am I blanking his name? Anyway, Tim was the creator of the original CoCoMax, and then Dave Stamp took over CoCoMax 2 and CoCoMax 3. From what I remember. But anyway, yeah, it's a good documentary. I haven't seen it. I'll go check it out. It's pretty interesting. And the last one here for the regular news, this came up earlier this week. There's the YouTube site called Erie's 8-Bit Workshop. And he does a 16-minute review, kind of take apart and testing a couple of basic games. He always got the 4K MC10, but it's an MC10, and he'd never heard of it before. I would guess there's probably quite a few people from that time era that probably didn't, if they didn't follow Radio Shack too much, because I think they only sold it for about a year and a half, 2 years, didn't they? From 83, 84,
Right.
and it kind of disappeared.
And it was
And he
always
does
like,
mention it was the basis of the Alice, the original Alice. But he kind of takes it apart, kind of shows you how it works, cleans up the video interface a bit so he gets a slightly better quality screen, and then he demos a couple of basic games at 4K. He doesn't have the 16K expansion. So he was mentioning that it only had 64 by 32 8-color graphics in there, which is kind of what you can see in the background of this little Space Invaders game. So I left him a comment mentioning, actually, if you got the 16K RAM expansion, you could actually get up to 128 by 96 by 4-color, which Henry Strickland was actually demoing on his board. It's the same resolution the MC10 has built in default. You can go higher than that, but the way the MC10 is designed, the video RAM has to be on board. It can't be on the expansion pack bus. And they have 4K, stock, and the screen size of the next P mode jumps from 3K to 6K. Well, now you can't use that. Well, you can, but it wraps around and redisplays the top half of the screen on the bottom again. Which Sprite X actually used as a kind of a graphic technique in one of the earlier games. But if you actually go and resolder some 8K chips on there, you can actually get a full P Mode 3 or P Mode 4 screen, just like the CoCo, but not many people did that. So I think if I remember, Darren Atkinson's Extended Basic does support that. So if you did that mod, you can actually use it in his Extended Basic. But anyway, it does a pretty good review and kind of a bit of a detail of the insides of the machine as he goes through it. I'll play just a little clip at the beginning here, but you guys can go definitely check it out at your own time.
I bought a vintage computer I'd never even heard of, but somehow 40 years later, it's still cheap. And that has immediately made me curious.
And that's true. The MC10 hasn't had the astronomical price increases on eBay that the CoCos have had.
That's probably because they're like him. What the heck is it?
Yeah.
Or a single place to find everything to do with the channel, head over.
Well, that's where it actually gets to the MC10 here.
Needs a bit of a clean. There's something sticky on the front here.
And one thing he pointed out that I hadn't noticed before, that the
Hard
chiclet keys are actually quite similar to
very
another 8-bit
small,
machine
very
of the
close.
time.
The same color.
The Oric.
Commonly found in England.
Background on the keys and the same hard plastic keys.
I think, Nick, if you're still around, I think this was actually sold in Australia too, wasn't the Oric? I'm assuming
It's
these
an
are. I probably
Oric?
should have checked first.
Did you say?
Yeah, the Oric one. I'm trying to remember, Mark, do you remember, is that 652 or a Z80 based machine?
Did that computer suck?
I
Because
think
if it
it's
did,
502 based.
they made a vacuum.
Yeah, I do like the arrow key placement here. They put the arrows right beside the space bar on both sides. That's
Right, good
different.
for
I don't think I've
games.
ever seen anything else do
Exactly.
that. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, I'm not going to play the whole thing. If you want to check it out, of course, you can check out our show notes on the CoCo Discord, where, of course, links to every single thing we talk about on the show is on there, as well as the upcoming shows list, which actually has some new entries this week. So, but yeah, it's a good review. He goes into the details, the inside, does some cleaning up, checking out things. Then a little bit of a game demonstration of some basic games. Like here's a low res Space Invaders game. There's a Frogger done with text characters somewhat. Definitely some better ones you could play if you got the 16K RAM expansion, which I did mention to him. Plus the MCX 128 and the MCX SD 32. Anyway, that's it for the regular news. Sorry, go ahead.
I wonder if
Yeah,
he ever
Curtis.
knew that there was MC10 on Facebook, a group there.
Yeah, there's an MC10 group there. Jim posts
Yeah.
there fairly often. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, the Oric one uses the 6502.
Okay. Cool. Next up in the last part of the news here is the upcoming shows. We've managed to, taking a few off there because obviously VCF Montreal is over. So the next one coming up is actually only in 2 weeks. And that's VCF SoCal, Southern California. There has been a bit of a CoCo presence there in the past. Wayne Campbell actually attended last time and kind of took us on a little bit of a tour through it. And they've had some other CoCo people there, especially with Fujinet, because Thomas usually comes and attends and does the update of the Fujinet. As there's been so much stuff happening on the CoCo side, I'm pretty sure they'll be demoing like the Wikipedia reader and stuff there too. But hopefully we'll get some other CoCo people out there, because I mean, Southern California is actually where, Steve Bjork lived and some other people. They had a pretty active club there. So it'd be pretty interesting to see if anybody else can come out for that. So anyway, that's at the Hotel Fair Event Center in Orange, California, February 14th to 15th. Next, after that, we got an early announcement here that the next Tier City Trash Talk Live, we just had one, I think, 2 weeks ago, I think it was.
I don't think you're showing the, you're not showing the.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yep.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, so the next Tier City Trash Talk Live, which is a live show for roughly about 2 hours, and you can participate in the chat. Sometimes they don't look at it, but you can also participate in the live show if you actually send them a DM, and they have their own Discord, which of course covers all the Tandy computers. This is from the Tier City Z80-based machines, Tandy 1000 machines like the PC clones, the Model 100s, the portables, the Pocket computers, the CoCos, everybody. Usually it's pretty interesting. It gets to be fairly technical, more so than our show does. But they've already announced the next one. Episode 47 will be Saturday, February 21st at 8 p.m. Central Time. So it'll be a few hours after our show ends. So if you want to get a twofer, that's a good day to do it. And that's only 3 weeks away. So next after that is the Indy Classic, which is run by a few people, including Randy Kindig of the Floppy Days podcast, which has done a ton of interviews and histories of a whole bunch of computers, which he's continuing to do. And he actually interviewed some of the people involved with making these machines back in the day. And we've had him on our show for a good interview too, which is kind of nice. And we've seen pictures and stuff from this the last few years. It's only like a pretty quick drive from Chicago. It's only a few hours away. So if you're in the Chicago area for CoCo Fest stuff, and you happen to be in the area of Indianapolis in Indiana, this will be March the 21st to the 22nd. It's at a new location this year compared to previous years. It's at the Windham Indianapolis Airport Hotel, which means if you're flying in, you're pretty well right next door to the hotel. You don't have to go that far. You don't have to drive through town. So hoping to get some people from the CoCo community there. They can maybe do a live stream or maybe some photos and movie clips afterwards if we can't do a live stream. Next to that, just to reiterate what we talked about before, they've announced the next Dragon Meetup, March 28th to 29th at the Center for Computing History in Cambridge, England. And like I mentioned before, there's already some people commenting that they're planning on attending, and some others are thinking about it. And we've always had some representation there, whether it's been live, because at the time zone difference, they're usually in the pub by the time we get onto our show. So, and the pub is usually pretty loud, so you can't really hear them. But definitely we've shown some pictures, and there's been some pretty interesting stuff demoed at the show. Hopefully they'll be playing the new version of Quarks here for the Dragon 32, this one, amongst other things. Next after that, we have the Glenside CoCo Fest, the main CoCo show. If you want to attend one, this is the one to go to. This is April 24th to the 25th in the Chicago area. This actually has some updates too that I mentioned earlier here that Grant actually put in about getting the tables, etc., and the prices of the tables, what the menu is for the meal if you want to take part of that, has been added to that as well. And that's only 82 days away. It's coming up pretty quick. April 24th to 25th. So same location as last year. You can actually reserve tables, etc. You can reserve your tickets. You can actually get a discount on the room rates. That's already been announced for a while, but you can get a code to send to the hotel, and you'll knock off some of the price of the hotels. So definitely check it out. And hopefully, well, not hopefully, we'll get people streaming from there. I'm positive, unless the internet goes completely down. That same weekend, if you're in South America, you can attend VCF LATM 2026. This is the very first official Latin American VCF, and this is at Bahia Blanca in Argentina. And I'm really curious to see if we can get anybody that will be able attending this that listens to the show, because I'd love to see some pictures from this one. Hopefully the regular VCF people will kind of do some of the postings from this too here, because I'm kind of curious how this show is going to go. This is the inaugural one for this one, just like Montreal was. Montreal was very well attended, had pretty good CoCo representation at it too. So I'm kind of curious how the one in Argentina is going to go, but hopefully it goes really well and it continues to happen in the future. After that is one that Mark Overoser knows well as it returns. This is VCF Pacific Northwest. Any comments on that one, Mark?
As you can see, they
Besides
haven't
May 2nd
added
and
too many
3rd.
more people. Yeah, the weekend after CoCo Fest. Haven't added too many people to the exhibits, as you can see. It's still only got 15 people or so. But anyway, I don't know. Might be nice a few other people to show up. Hey, at least we got some presenters.
Yeah, none CoCo related presenters yet. We don't have to fix that.
Yeah,
Has
well.
Tim mentioned if he's planning on going, or AJ?
No, I haven't heard anything from either one of them. So probably should send him a message.
Yeah, maybe contact Glenn Soggy, because I think he's in Oregon too now.
Okay.
And he's one of the image producers, one of the original programmers that did some of the launch titles for the CoCo and worked with the original CoCo 1 prototypes. And he's pretty friendly with this kind of stuff. I've had him in Chicago a couple times when he was still living there. So
Okay.
he might be another one to reach
He's
out.
on-
If you get a what's that?
He's on Facebook, right?
Yeah, he is. Chris Burke would be another one because he lives out not too far from there too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Wes
Just
Gale in
bring it to their
Vancouver, if you want to
attention.
try to drag him down there.
Yeah.
Maybe in that
make an
Canadian
offer.
retro things guy, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, he's always busy doing something.
Like snoozing right now? Or is he actually no, he's actually ditched us all and left somewhere else. No, he's snoozing. He's still logged in. And then the last one is the former Boat Fest, now called the International Retro Computer Expo, because it was really confusing. People were showing up, trying to buy yachts. And definitely a little bit more gaming oriented, but this is the one that the CoCo show hosts, Brent and Aaron, and Boat of Card is his nickname, but John Schaller. So, of course, the regulars you see on the Amiga show, the CoCo show, and a bunch of others. This is also where I demonstrated Warp Fighter 3D with the 3D glasses the one year, as I was mentioning earlier in the show. And they've got a really, really good pizza place nearby. A few of us have been down there. Ken's been down there. I've been down there. Jason Reichert's been down there. CoCo Man. Want to get some more CoCo people out there as well. They do live recordings of the shows there. So if you want to actually catch the CoCo show being recorded live and make comments from the floor, definitely go to the show. It's a lot of fun. This is a bit more of a loose, small group setting. It's a lot more personable, I guess. Not as much tech talk stuff, though there is some. We had people demonstrating like the Magnavox Odyssey 1. We had one of the guys come by with my Model 4P last time I was there. So there's some CoCo and Tandy representation there as well, but it generally is a bit more game focused than some of the other shows. And that's all I've got for upcoming shows, and that's all I've got for the news this week.
I've got to say, Jaeger Airport sounds like a fun flight in, eh? We're going to test fly you to Hurricane.
Anyway, I don't know if we have anything else there planned, Mark, that you had, or are we pretty well done the show at this point?
No, I think we're pretty well done with the show.
Baked in, huh?
There we go. I was going to say, the guys are doing that that TRS-80 trash talk show, only 2 hours?
Yeah, they keep
I don't know what this 2 hours thing is. I don't know what that is.
The length of their show? Yeah.
Well,
It's good.
Ian Maverick kind of like restricts it to that. And Mark actually kind of broke it last time because he showed up right at the last minute. So they extended it to 2 hours and 7 minutes or something.
Troublemaker.
Almost thinking amateurs.
We'll show them.
All right.
Wait for Nick. Nick, are you there?
Yeah, I'm back.
It's ending, Nick.
Oh, good. I'm ready for my final line.
Okay, go ahead.
How about CRT? Did we turn?
And
the
Ken
bright
Waters
lights
even
on?
woke up here. I think he was busy
Yeah.
refereeing a cat fight before.
I
So
just woke up. We're sorry.
Well, we gotta do the outro yet too.
Too early.
Oh, okay.
Formalities.
All right, here's the outro.
This concludes another episode of the CoCoNation, the world's leading live interactive talk show featuring the Technicolor computer. For all things the CoCoNation, visit us on the web at thecoconation.com. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to show@thecoconation.com. The CoCoNation show would not exist without the community and its cast and crew. The CoCoNation theme song copyright 2022 D. Bruce Moore. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. The CoCoNation is over. Join us on the CoCo Discord server. CoCo forever.
Okay.
Are we sorry now?
Yep, now you can say it.
Okay. We're sorry.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
We are sorry.
Bye.